it's really a chopper. The style of it, I want to be clear about that. I'm not sure if I'm Australian or Cockney or Sean Connery or Michael Caine, but I'm somewhere in between all that, and yeah.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast. This is your twice-monthly podcast that temporarily delivers juice on the Joe, but now offering a brief respite by revisiting our Robo Bros. More on that later. Welcome to the show, everyone. This is your host, Aaron, and the three of us, we're very self-aware people, high EQ, as they call it in the HR evaluation world. And though we know we have attributes of youthful exuberance and certainly a definitive connection to the culture of millennials and Gen Z, the truth is that we're 40 fucking years old, and a lot of baggage comes with that. Take me, for instance. I was a radio ad exec, and I hated my job. No passion for it at all. Co-host B, we'll call him Ryan, he was a successful sporting goods salesman and playboy who recently married a beautiful underwear model, but he just can't bring himself to plant that seed. And of course there's co-host C for Caleb, trapped in a loveless marriage to his ogress of a wife. Well, here's the deal. We take these yearly trips to escape the reality of our individual midlife crises. And last year, we ran the bulls in Pamplona, Spain. But this year, for our 40th, we decided an old-timey cattle drive was the key. So we took a herd of cattle from New Mexico to Colorado with the goal of finding renewed purpose in life. And, after some rough times with the grizzled old trail boss, I managed to cause a stampede, gain some cowboy wisdom, birth a calf, fight some drunken cowboys, and even though the trail boss died on the run, I managed to rally the troops, and guess what? We delivered that cattle to Colorado just in time for their diversion to a slaughterhouse. And, along the way, we all gained true insight, vision into our lives. Ryan, well, he decided to knock up his wife, and Caleb, he decided to pursue a relationship with some rando chick that we met on the cattle drive. And me, well, I hung on to that calf that I delivered in the field. I named him Norman and put him in a petting zoo. And life got better because I found out the one thing in life, the one thing that was most important. And you know what it was?
Your finger?
Rum raisin. Woof!
Whoa, what do you mean wolf? How do you know he's right?
1,400 retail outlets, and I can't remember the line.
Sea bass.
I think my favorite line is actually, scoop of chocolate, scoop of vanilla, don't waste my time. Caleb,
I'm glad I get to be Bruno Kirby.
Do you recall this movie at all, Caleb?
Yeah, City Slickers?
Okay.
That's right.
I've never seen it.
Really?
Oh, it's so good.
I know, you guys have talked about it for years.
First of all, is that true? He said so exasperatedly.
You guys have, I'm sorry.
I believe at some point, Aaron, you had the entire thing memorized.
Yeah, you guys really
I used it
liked
to get over angst.
Yeah,
I didn't want to call you out like that.
You guys really liked that movie, so I knew what you were talking about.
I don't think I've ever seen the sequel.
Curly's Gold?
Yeah.
I like how you know the name of the sequel.
Yeah. I don't live in a box.
I've been living in a box.
Do you guys want to introduce yourselves? Sorry,
I'm Ryan,
give you
and
the opportunity.
I'm Ryan, and I won't put a baby in my wife.
That wouldn't be especially good in your situation.
I'm Caleb, and my wife is most definitely not an ogress.
No,
I
she's
forgot
wonderful.
about that. Like, so he just straight up is going to have an affair.
Well,
at the end of that movie?
He'd already had an affair. You'll recall at the birthday party, his mistress showed up and said she was pregnant.
Wow.
So he knocked up a woman he worked with, and then on this cattle drive decided to hook up with some other chick.
Daniel Stern, you trash.
But yet somehow by the end of the movie, it felt like he'd learned a lesson.
Yeah.
Because he had a psychotic breakdown after they fought the cowboys, and he grabbed a gun and he pointed at him, and then this sort of...
Man, I need to revisit this movie.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Guys, it's episode 100.
Absolutely.
Motherfuckers.
We did it.
Only 2/3 of us are feeling good today. Poor little Caleb. I'm sorry, buddy.
He's under the weather.
I have a sinus infection.
But he still showed up because he's ready to put in the work.
That's right.
He's, he believes in the cause.
That's right.
He has notes.
Triple digits.
Yep.
And he even uncharacteristically has notes.
Yep. I'm ready to get this over with.
So what are we doing? We've been doing G.I. Joe the movie about 10 minutes at a time, but this is episode 100, and this is a Transformers podcast.
Yay, said everybody who hates G.I. Joe.
So we got to get back to our roots, and we're going to take a real American respite from Joe this week and get back to Transformers. Is this where you say the word is respite?
No, I'm not going to correct you there.
And having covered Transformers the movie minute by minute, what better way to get back to our favorite changey bots by covering the 1986 episode Dark Awakening.
Dark Awakenings, the aptly named Dark fucking Awakenings.
Yes. So
it's kind of a bummer.
quick shout out. We actually had made this decision, but we put out in the world yesterday on Twitter, which would have been Saturday the
27th?
Like, hey, give us some ideas, because we were, kind of looking for some ideas. And we'd already just settled on the Dark Awakening, but Greg T, what's up, man? What up, Mike? You suggest... now you just lost a follower.
At least you could have done. It's been like, good day.
What up? They say that all the time in Australia. Anyway, he suggested Dark Awakening, so I hope this makes your day.
Yeah, he just said Dark Awakenings commentary and review, and well, here you go, pal.
Yeah.
That's right. But before we get into all of that, it's been a couple weeks. Anything new, guys, that we need to touch on personally? People love that personal life stuff.
My dog has been on crate rest for 2 weeks because she has a spinal injury.
And she has some sort of brace?
She has a back brace that she hates. But basically Wes and I have put the spare bedroom mattress on the floor in the living room, and we keep the dog on it during when she's out of the crate, and then when we're gone we have to put her in the crate, which she does not enjoy. But basically she has to move as little as possible, and she's gotten a lot of her mobility back, but it's basically carrying her everywhere.
Have you considered euthanasia?
I don't have my finger on the pulse of young people.
Nor do you on your dog. I mean,
I was trying to make a euthanasia joke, but it didn't pan out. Thanks for saying that. She's fine. She is 12 years old. She's adoption. She's 12 years old. So
is that old for adoption?
They can live to about 15, 16.
Can I also say I hate that you pronounce it probably properly. I really prefer dachshund.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know how to spell it. Every time I try to spell it, it falls apart.
It doesn't really matter. It's just a dog.
Anyway, so I've been doting upon her.
Gotcha. Well, my best.
Yeah, she'll be fine. She's recovered remarkably.
She has that strange wart on her head now.
I had that removed.
Oh, really? Okay. Yes. I'm so happy about that. It was really creeping me out, actually. I didn't really bring it up, but now that it's over, I can say.
God.
She was cosmetically disgusting.
Caleb, have your children done anything outlandish lately?
No more than normal.
Okay. How's Chainsaw working out?
Oh, he's very good. Yeah. He's a guinea pig.
Mm-hmm.
That we have the other guinea pig.
Yeah.
And they get along very well.
Would Chainsaw like even more company?
Uh-oh.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because we are looking to chuck our guinea pigs.
Is Carolina not into the guinea pigs anymore?
Yeah. So we rode this trend of everybody that has children under 12 in our lives got guinea pigs. Well, actually, even Kaylee got guinea pigs, and she's 17. But anyway... and so Carolina, our youngest stepdaughter, has 2 guinea pigs that we've had for about 6 months now. And one of them was older, and the other one was younger. Like I don't know how fresh it was, but maybe it was like 6 months or something like that. And I think it's hit adolescence because that one has become a jerk and is now like constantly attacking the older one. So
are they both males?
They're both males,
Yeah.
and we've tried to do some things to curb that, and now they're separated. They're in a divided cage, and it's really creepy because the way they fight is basically tries to fuck it.
Oh, sure.
Just constantly,
Humping dominance, like I do with you.
Constantly trying to fuck it. Except that is actually consensual.
Oh, well then I'm not into it.
Oh, good.
That's a terrible joke.
So, anyway, you don't want them.
I don't want.
Is this interesting to anyone? The guinea pig corner.
I want nothing to do with your guinea.
All right, let's get into shout-outs.
Yay! Steals again.
Shout it out!
It's so catchy. Sorry, Mike.
We have an international iTunes review, guys.
Bring it on.
And this is actually from March, and because I have no way, here's how I check on our iTunes reviews. Before I go and start to do my notes for an episode, I will open up iTunes and go to our page and see if there's reviews or not. And if there are, great. But the international reviews don't show up. So for me to have to track that, I have to do some doofy thing in a browser and enter country codes.
What a wonderful program.
And there's
Apple
no
has
way
for us.
to... So I basically pick the country codes that I know are most likely to have them based on we can tell from our analytics where people are listening from.
Oh, so who knows how many
world.
Croatian reviews we have that we haven't even looked up.
That's true. And so anyway, from the great land of Australia, Kick-Ass 86. And I wonder if Kick-Ass Grady 6, if Kick-Ass 86 could be Greg T.
I don't know. There's no way. We'll definitely never find out.
Show yourself. Anyway, the headline is Good Times, and there was also a hang loose emoji that he figured out how to put in there. Unlike my other podcast, this one never fails me.
Excellent.
5 stars.
What's the other podcast?
Yeah. They weren't so bold as to call that out.
Wow.
That's a quote, right?
No.
It's from the movie, from Transformers the movie. It's
Caleb the Everyman doesn't fail to let us down again. His lack of understanding and dedication to the culture.
He's wiped the Transformers the movie from his memory.
I don't know why I'm here.
International listeners, if you do post something, feel free. I mean, I don't want to make you do any extra work, but if you have a second, send us a little note on Twitter or something. Just say, hey, we sent you
let us know.
And we'll get to it faster, and we will, discover it years later that you actually cared, and we cared. So moving on, next shout out that I think we have to give, and hopefully she doesn't get all kind of big head over all of this, but Twitter friend All Hayl Megatron, aka @AllAreDead, who we called out, but for the nice iTunes review she left in the last episode. And incidentally, she is hilarious.
She's funny.
She's a really funny person, and
especially when mocking me.
And she's part of the microscopic contingent of haters of the Joe episodes as well. But so hopefully
It's all in good fun.
Oh yeah,
the vocal minority.
In celebration of episode 100, she offered up some custom Autopod Decepticast beverages, which we have made and are consuming now for the purposes of content. Ryan, or actually, let me start here. With the Joe Mosa is drink number 1, which is an all-encompassing drink. She made one dedicated to each co-host here, and but the Joe Mosa, because she doesn't like G.I. Joe, she didn't want to actually be creative, and so it's basically whatever the rock gut of champagne we could buy, which was what, Ryan?
Some kind of cheap prosecco.
Okay, and orange juice and a little vodka. And that's it to make the movie better. G.I. Joe the movie. Well, hopefully it makes Dark Awakening better.
Bonus points if the vodka comes in a plastic bottle.
And did it?
No, unfortunately, I just used what was on hand.
But he did. I mean, I don't know if this helps out in that, but he did buy a little split, which means the investment was still like pretty low.
$4.
Okay, gotcha. So that is the Joe Mosa.
And we'll put up pictures of this, and if it's okay with her, I'll post the pictures. She DM'd us of the drinks as well. She did a whole thing here.
Yeah, it was really amazing.
Caleb, you however, you get the drink of the everyman, a classic good beer.
I got a good beer.
What have you got in front of
I
you
am
here?
drinking an Asahi Super Dry.
Ooh.
I have it's a Japanese.
Despite the pictures we took earlier.
The picture is of a winter grind coffee stout. I would not probably consider that a refreshing beer by any stretch of the imagination. It's 6% alcohol, and it's basically drinking cold coffee.
Cold brew.
Yeah. So I decided to make something up. What I would prefer to drink.
Yeah, what would you be drinking right now?
I would be drinking
if you were well.
An Asahi Super Dry.
Oh, delicious.
It's
crisp.
It's a lager. It's from Japan. It's my favorite of Japanese beers. It's incredibly crisp and refreshing.
Well, hopefully you can take some antibiotics, get over whatever's happening with you, and enjoy one of those.
I will.
Caleb's not drinking. Poor fella.
I'm just drinking some coffee.
He's just staring at the unopened winter grind bottle while drinking actual coffee.
Yes.
Ryan, what do you got here?
Mine is... I'll just read it verbatim from her recipe that she made here. The Ryan, muddled mint because he thinks he's cool. Gin, for obvious reasons. Simple syrup because I may give him a hard time on Twitter, but he's a sweet guy.
Oh.
To be served in a crystal glass because Ryan knows what's up with drinkware.
He does.
He does like the classic drinkware. However, he's actually drinking out of something more contemporary. It's actually
true.
A modern champagne flute. Way to wreck my desk.
Oh, no.
Way to not use a coaster.
I know,
face.
I screwed it up.
This desk is garbage, so it's
All good. I'm glad you don't mind.
do
I
that
left a
bit all the
drink
time.
ring on his. But yeah, it's refreshing, and I got that mint is from my garden.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. You're better with mint than you are with potatoes, I see.
Yes, absolutely. Mint is truly impossible not to grow.
I don't know that this is a crystal glass.
I just picked one that was fun.
I think it is a glass made from processed sand.
All right, isn't that all glass? Oh, not well. But yeah, I just picked one that I thought looked cool and fun.
Then on to me. It's called the Aaron. Mm-hmm. That's appropriate. Whiskey, a classy liquor for a classy guy. And by the way, thanks for not putting the word classy in quotes. Ginger ale, because he makes people feel better.
Oh,
Not
yeah, you do.
100% sure I understand that reference. Berries, for no reason. I just like berries. I happen to have some blueberries in the refrigerator that I chucked in here, so hopefully that'll complement things. And a Transformer toy to give it that Aaron touch. And in her reference photos, she had a picture of, I believe it was the Beachcomber from a relatively recent, they did like a Golden Lagoon release of several characters, and it was the Golden Lagoon Beachcomber. So to kind of keep in tune with that, I have it's a Magic Square. They're doing all these legend-sized things, and that's the Beachcomber that I have in there as my garnish.
Yeah, she apparently Screams at Stars got her that Beachcomber, and she had to text her to ask permission. Just like, would you be mad if I just submerged this in alcohol for a little bit?
Well, here's the thing I was worried about, and you should have probably been more worried about, and hopefully it didn't play out, is that I would think the alcohol could strip the paint off of the the thing. Now, it is a mixed drink, so maybe that keeps it from being...
Yeah, it might be. It's not like you're dipping it in turpentine or anything like that.
Well, it's
Even though
not, but-
Ryan's drinks typically have
Here, let
that.
me make sure you're aware I'm drinking this. Hold on.
That did not sound good at all.
No.
It sounded like a fart more than... So, yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much.
All
that was
are
great.
dead.
Very funny.
All hail Megatron.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. They look like they're having a fun time on a trip right now.
Yeah, they're in Orlando.
Doing some stuff. So, okay. Next up, we got
This is exciting.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this. I think we'll just kind of find out. Mike Seibert of Mike Seibert Radio on our group text sent us said he was going to send us a present via email for when we record episode 100. Mm-hmm. He asked to not be opened until we start recording. None of you have cheated, right?
Nope.
Okay, I have not either. And it said to fully enjoy, open it up before diving into the episode proper. Well, we're not into the episode proper, so
We haven't followed the rules thus far.
He has sent
So
us.
we have 10 wave files.
Okay.
Present number 1, present number 2, present number 3, etc.
And so on.
I was going to do it. Usually it's like you want 2 or 3 examples before you say etc. You just couldn't. You thought it was going to be present number 7, present number.
I thought it would have been funny if you'd have done that.
Present number 9.
And then like present schwa.
Present number 8.
Oh, so it did happen.
Present number 7. I'm just going backwards now.
Which one should we open first? Should we open
I
them
guess
out
we
of
go-
sequence?
Present number 1.
I feel
It'll
like-
probably be the.
All right.
Why do you want to fuck everything up?
All right. Present number 1.
I sell this. I'm going to play this. Here we go.
I recognize this.
Do you?
Oh, hello there. Pardon me, I was just making myself some hot cocoa. My favorite, especially with the little marshmallows. What's up, guys? Mike Seibert here, and welcome to this special bonus episode of Good Morning Cybertron. And I wanted to take a moment and congratulate you for making it to 100 episodes. It's a hell of a milestone. It's been great getting to know you guys over the last 2 years and sharing in your adventures, all the podcasts we've done together, being included as a part of your panel at TFCon Chicago, and most recently hanging out at TFCon LA with Aaron and learning way too much about myself, including that I really shouldn't go host a rock show, then jump on an airplane and think I can do a full convention weekend. But most importantly, I learned that watching Bobby Skullface videos on a Sunday morning literally makes me sick. Granny, don't! But seriously, guys, my point is that even though Autopod Decepticast is your minute-by-minute breakdown of Transformers the movie, it's really a podcast about friendship. But here's the deal. Don't take my word for it. Let's kick off episode 100 with some shout-outs.
Yeah.
That's a ripoff of Mike Seibert.
Let's just do it anyway.
Just stealing it from Mike Seibert.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
Awesome. Hey, I was, as lame as that my singing was, I was in key.
And to the rhythm.
All right,
That
on
was
to
pretty
number
cool.
2. This is exciting.
If I know anything about Mike Seibert at all, is this about to become a whole hour of
There's
show?
there's 9 more of these.
Okay, right, here we go, number 2.
All right.
Hello, Aaron, Ryan, and Caleb. It's your unofficial self-appointed number 1 super fan, Ernie. Just wanted to say congrats on 100 episodes, and thank you for the many hours of entertainment you've given everyone, and the positive effect you've had on your listeners' lives, including myself. You truly make a difference, gentlemen. You really, really do. I'm looking forward to what you have lined up in the future. Congratulations.
Oh,
So that's what he sounds
that's
like.
Ernie.
I know.
Oh,
You
what
put
a
a
sweetie.
voice
Oh,
to the
God.
face. That was so sweet. Thank you.
All right.
Ernie, shout out to Ernie.
So this is gonna wow. All right, let's keep going because I want to hear who else he reached out to. This is amazing.
Hello, listeners, or should I say victims of the Autopod Decepticast. This is quote-unquote super fan of the show, Michael Andrews, a.k.a. Pizza Mike, a.k.a. Will Write for Pizza. And here we are at episode 100. And I still can't tell the difference between Aaron and Ryan. I mean, honestly, they could be the same person. Thank God for Caleb. At least I'll always remember which one he is.
Boo.
The pervy one. Is that right? Is that accurate?
No.
Anyway, if you've been listening to the show since the beginning, my first question is, why? I mean, what
a
right did
roast.
these blipping with absolutely no backgrounds in art or history have to discuss our beloved Transformers, the movie? Honestly, I'd rather have Wheelie providing commentary for this movie than these clowns. Am I right? All right, that's my time, folks. You've been great. Seibert, you can keep the $5 because, frankly, this has been therapeutic. I feel so good. No, Michael, it's not a roast. You can't say that. This is their 100th episode. That's a milestone. Not even Moesha made it to 100 episodes. Oh, actually, it did. 127. Wow, good for them. Anyway, Autopod Decepticast. What to say? I guess I'd probably say something like, this is one of the best podcasts I've ever had the privilege to listen to. An unrivaled trio of best buds that I could listen to talk about anything, but they happen to choose my favorite topic. I should also say how it's not as easy as it looks to put out quality content on time. You know how many podcasts throw in the towel after like 7 episodes? Without Aaron's meticulous research and quirky intros, without Ryan's incredible artwork, without Caleb, the show just would not be as solid as it is. On top of that, they've given me way more credit than I deserve. Regular shout-outs, plugs for my book, and who can forget when I met them at TFCon Chicago? They could have sprayed mace in my eyes. Instead, they invited me into their little circle, like a pack of brothers I never had. And these guys are great podcast hosts, and even better humans. Endlessly generous. And funny. Most of them are funny. Yeah, I should say something like that. Well, not that. Something better. Okay, let's try that again. I'll just go ahead and hit record. It's right down here by the submit button, and
Wow.
That was great. Thank you, Mike.
That was really good. He forgot Michael Motorcycle. This is one of my weird nicknames for him, but
I've never heard
strange.
that before.
it makes
Really?
no sense at all. But
Oh, yeah.
okay, so this is turning into a weird thing. I'm becoming very self-conscious about
I'm
this.
not at all. I feel my dick's hard.
And his head grew 3 sizes that day. Okay, well, I guess on to where are we? Number 4? Okay.
Hello from Transmissions. This is Jeremy, along with Daryl and Charles. Hello. Hey, everybody. Hey, and we just wanted to congratulate you guys on hitting 100 episodes. It's a big achievement, especially for a show that likes to go minute by minute, through movies, and you had no idea what you were going to do after, the 86th minute. So glad you've figured out what you're going to do. And, it was great meeting you guys at TFCon last year, and, just hope to see you guys in the future.
And I look forward to meeting you at some point. Sorry, I missed you last time. Congratulations.
No, he's not.
So, maybe we'll see you at a future TFCon. And
hope so.
Again, congratulations, and hope you have many more when you figure out what you're going to do after the G.I. Joe movie.
Yo, Joe.
Transmissions out.
Oh, thanks, guys.
That was very sweet. Yeah, Jeremy and Daryl, we met them at Chicago. I spent some time chopping it up with Yoshi. I was really drunk, so I'm sure it was really annoying over at TFCon LA. But it was fun times indeed.
It'll be just weird when people eventually meet you sober.
I'm carrying that Bible under my arm.
How are you, sir? Do you have some time to talk about the Lord?
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks,
thank
absolutely.
you.
And we'll definitely thank everybody publicly on...
Transmissions has been historically one of my favorite Transformers podcasts. I listen to it a lot while mowing the yard.
Cool.
They can put that on there. That's the pull quote.
Great for mowing. I do get all the hot scoop from them as well. The hot toy scoop.
Hot goss.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5.
This is Flint Springer, a.k.a. Dave Cabal, wanting to wish the boys at Autopod Decepticast a happy 100 episodes. Congratulations, guys. Caleb, Ryan, you guys are doing a public service to the community. I would like to congratulate you guys and wish you 100 more episodes. Anyways, wanted to drop by and say hello. Thank you to Mike Seibert for this opportunity. You guys are great. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
I don't know if public service is the...
It's a service in the public sphere.
But that is very sweet. Dave Cabal also met him at TFCon LA. And, hey, I just shipped that poster back to you. So that should be showing up in the next week.
We had a fun exchange with him about what Ninja Turtles we were.
Oh, yes.
Mike Andrews and Mike Seibert got in on that as well on Twitter.
Which one were you? I was Leonardo.
I was Raphael, and then
sense.
Somebody said that I should have been Donatello, which I said, oh my god, I'm doing it. I said there's a story that's too boring to tell where whenever I think, were you with me, Aaron?
Yes, it was John McMillan You, me.
Yeah, we were just
We were
fucking
doofing
around.
off on a walk home from school as we did.
I had some kind of staff or stick or something.
We
I
all
was
found some staffs.
doing some weird stuff, and then like we walked by, I guess, a daycare, and so one of the kids was out in the yard and was like, "Whoa, that kid's Donatello!"
What we were doing, I can't believe my memory on this is better than yours,
Wow.
is we were goofing. We found these staffs, or I don't know, I feel like they just might have been branches.
Yeah.
And we were like bow stick fighting with them. And then we found this area that was right by like an elementary school or a preschool or something. And there was a hill. And so we started then we were pole vault. So we were on a flat area with a hill in front of us going down, maybe about 3 or 4 feet down. And then there was, the ground continued to be
Flattened
level
out.
after that. And so we were pole vaulting from the top height of that just down to the bottom height. And that's when a kid said,
That kid's Donatello.
that kid's Donatello. Very boring story.
Yep,
Let's move
glad
on to more of these kudos.
Did what I shouldn't have done.
I just thought of something when you were talking about transmissions. You listen to them while you mow. This is probably
Oh,
usually
no.
while you're mowing other people's
Oh, no.
yards, right?
Here we go.
Triggered.
Okay. I'll leave you with that.
I'll kill you, Daniel. I'll fucking kill you.
Every episode we're going to talk about it.
Hey guys, this is Alpha Magnus. Toby, you've met me at TFCon Chicago. Well, 2/3 of you did. Ryan was off, probably gallivanting on his own. Anyway, just wishing you guys a happy 100th podcast. May we get 100 more, and may all of your significant others have to deal with it. Thanks for the poster that you've already gotten. And I actually am a huge fan of the Joe review.
He's the second one.
Please do more like that. You've already talked to me on Twitter enough. I can't wait to see what you guys do next for the on-topic Transformers. And hope to see you around. See you in Toronto.
If we're lucky, we'll see you in Toronto. I'm leaning more towards DC. What do you guys think of DC?
I don't know.
All right, more conversation on that. But, and maybe we even pitch another show. That's far
Another
enough
panel.
out. All right, we'll see. Yes, Alpha Magnus. We met him. I met him in the hallways. I don't remember if
Not
it was
the
right
elevator?
after our
It was
not the elevator.
It was after our thing.
Was it right after our thing, or was
I
it
think so.
after the podcasters panel?
After the podcasters panel, I think. Actually.
And he is a toy customizer, and he does a lot of really cool, customizations, as one might say.
Go check
And
him out.
So follow him on Twitter and see some of that. Some of it's pretty compelling. I don't know if he sells it.
I don't know. Maybe.
Hey, I've got some custom ideas, Alpha Magnus, so that I need for
A lot of them
in my collection.
involve cocks, which is weird.
I need all of my masterpiece figures to have
Cocks.
genitals, including my Fans Toys RC.
Oh no!
Don't judge me. Moving on.
Good evening. This is the loneliest Decepticon, Shockwave. Just wishing the Autopod Decepticast a wonderful 100th podcast unit. I was wondering if you could possibly come over and hang out or something. I'm kind of bored with these comic books I've been left by Megatron. I think I would like to leave Cybertron for a moment, possibly do anything but stare at my gimp hand. Just please call, send me a button, let me know that someone's out there. I know you're half Autopod, whatever that is. Please.
That was haunting.
Okay. Now I'm trying to figure out, who do we think that was?
I have no idea. That was a great bit, but
Well, it could be Alpha Magnus again.
It could be.
wow.
Now we're going to have to listen to everything over again and compare
Analyze
the
it.
quality.
I'm gonna have
the
one of
recording.
those boards with all the strings connected and a bunch of stuff.
It's going to be like The Wire.
Mm-hmm.
It's Springer Bell.
It's gonna be just like The Wire.
It's the Barksdale crew.
Maybe it's Maybe it's the Bears. What if the Bears 86 is on? I doubt it. I'm not getting my hopes up here. All right, we got 3 more here. Here's number 8.
Hey there, guys. This is Chris from WTF TFW, Evangelist Central on YouTube, etc. Just recording you a quick congratulations on a happy hundo. I'm not sure how you guys stretched out the 86 movie to 100 minutes quite yet. I'm assuming you got that secret director's cut that my uncle had back when he worked at Nintendo. But have a good one, guys. Don't mind the noise. I was just out seeing that Avengers Endgame. Ooh, let me tell you, it's pretty crazy when...
Well done.
So, a couple of things like that. Chris Evangelist is another person who I've probably annoyed with drunken conversation at TFCon Chicago and LA.
They could always just leave. They stuck around.
So. You know what? They didn't, so it's on you, people. But his YouTube videos are among my favorite out there. He has some of the most compelling reviews out there. He does it in a way that nobody else does it. Puts some drama, puts some art to it. He's got his own pastiche. Yeah, thanks, Chris. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
And I felt like I had one more thing to add to that. Oh, I was at a senior banquet because my oldest stepdaughter Victoria is graduating, and it was a banquet, and
Evangelist was
there, and he tends to be everywhere. And no, this kid came up on stage and spoiled Avengers Endgame for everybody in the room.
Is that true?
As a high school joke.
Oh,
that's terrible.
God.
And there's about 300 people in the room, parents and kids, and
wow. So what a little prick.
Yeah. Well, the reason he did it was because when the kid comes up, they say their name, where they're going to school, what their major is going to be at this point. But in the background is a profile of them, of little quotes that some of their friends gave about him. And this kid had a profile of that, like, he spoils movies all the time, he's the worst. And he got up, he's like,
so he doubled down.
He was like, guys, that was like back in like 8th grade, come on, get over it. Then he did his thing. He was like, I'm John whatever, I'm going to wherever, and I'm studying whatever. Oh, and by the way, Endgame, blah 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 blah. And then he walked off stage, dropped the mic.
What an asshole.
Well, I have to say,
we'll see. I'm going to see Endgame tonight, actually, and I'll see if the spoilers that he dropped, if they're right or not. I've managed to avoid internet.
Was everybody like?
The room was very disturbed by what he said.
That's so funny.
God, fuck you, kid.
Okay, then present number 9.
Hey, it's Haley, Bono, and Mandy, a.k.a. I Love Megatron, Screams Up Stars, and Ain't No Waifu on Twitter, just popping in to say congratulations on 100 episodes, guys. Thank you so much for all your hard work on this awesome podcast. Autopod Decepticast is a great listen for Transformers fans old or new. And when I moved to Texas, I was really sad that I couldn't go over to my friend's place and watch the 80s Transformers movie every week. So at least now we have this podcast that we can listen to every week and still reconnect. Thanks again for all the laughs and Twitter shenanigans. And I think at this point we owe you all a drink. Yes. We are super excited to announce our upcoming podcast project, the Autocast Deceptipod, where we present a minute-by-minute breakdown of the first 100 episodes of the Autopod Decepticast. Congrats again, guys, and here's to 100 more.
That's pretty meta.
Yeah.
And then the next podcast will break down their breakdown.
It'll just keep getting more and more.
It sounds like we need to buy them a copy of the movie also.
Yes, it's available. You don't have to go to your friend's house.
Right. So, first of all, that was very sweet.
Yes, thank you.
They are certainly one of the newer contingent of listeners, and it's awesome that people actually give a shit to go. I mean, it is the kind of podcast where you do have to go back to the beginning if you really want to.
It's pretty linear.
So, we're looking.
And I have a lot of fun interacting with them on Twitter and stuff. They're a lot of fun.
Fucking hilarious. And talented.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Those costumes are so good.
Yeah, they're 100% more talented than us.
Well,
what are we doing? Oh wait, you?
I can sew.
That is true.
Have you ever sewed something?
I've sewed plenty of things. I made part of Melody's costume one Halloween.
Have you ever thought about doing a cosplay costume?
He basically does every Halloween. Have you think of the thing? Like, Ryan actually is a cosplayer. He's just never exhibited.
It's just only for the cosplay annual
at Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah, he made a really...
his...
Ghostbusters,
Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. Cloud Strife.
You got into it. Your garage was a little costume making workshop. You were fucking Jim Henson up in this motherfucker.
There's a large portion of my basement dedicated to my props and costumes.
Right. Yeah. That is something you could do with life. You're an accountant.
Oh.
All right.
Not a good one.
You're a Quaker, Dred.
You're a Quaker. All right, number 10.
Number 10, bringing it home. I'm gonna guess it's Mike Seibert. Oh.
So there you go. Congratulations again on 100 episodes, and here's to at least a few more. And until next time, gentlemen, till all are one, yo Joe, and of course, make good choices.
Thank you so much for doing
awesome.
that, Mike. That was amazing.
I did not expect that at all.
I know.
That was pretty thoughtful.
And really more thoughtful than we've ever been about anything.
And sincere.
Yeah.
I have problems with sincerity.
You're afraid of it.
I've been told.
I've been informed. I have problems.
In therapy.
Okay, good.
And employee reviews.
And my wife.
And
basically all around.
And the people on my podcast.
That's awesome, man.
So
Thank
cool.
you, Mike.
It's interesting to hear these people, like you read, we read them.
Yeah,
we read
you're
the
right,
things that they have to say, and it's really nice to hear them verbally, and it really makes you be like, wow, I'm actually doing something that people like.
Yeah, at least for 9 people.
It's
that's something.
It's fun to meet people that you've only interacted with electronically. It's a good time.
So Ernie was right off the bat at number 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's been there from the get-go.
Yeah, absolutely, from the jump. He's my replacement.
That's true.
And you've recently said that all hail.
Oh yeah, don't take this the wrong way, Ernie. Maybe if you die, Ernie and all hail can. We'll just be a 4-person podcast. I think we need maybe the power of both of them to.
It'll be
replace
better.
You. I mean,
the horniness of me needs replaced by 2 people.
There's just so much horniness, Ryan.
It's out right now.
Oh man, I don't know what to do with this, but it was that was very sweet.
It was so sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody, and Mike. Thank you.
You did a great job.
Now that I guess we've had our 100 episode dick sucking,
I feel good.
We did tease that we're going to do Dark Awakening. I'm certain
we'll get there.
I'm certain that we're going to get to it.
This is going to be a long one.
But there's a little bit more pre-show action for you here. But let's talk. Speaking of our Twitter friend Alpha Magnus, we have a challenge going on out there.
Oh,
that is the G My Joe file card challenge.
After our last episode, where Caleb was very dejected about it and very we got some responses from it.
We did.
Pity wins.
I know. Well, like I said, I lost my virginity to Pity, and Caleb gets attention from Pity, and it's really underrated as a manipulative device.
It's not my preferred thing to use. I prefer passive aggression.
Okay, great.
but as it worked, and we got a couple submissions, and I think we can kick it off with Alpha Magnus's submission here. He created. Well, first of all, I guess let's recap what the G My Joe contest is, and nobody can do that better than Caleb in his sad Caleb voice.
Yeah. G My Joe is a challenge where you go to joecustoms.com and create your own Joe character, and it's a template where you basically create the Joe file card. And the response has not been quite as great as I wanted it to be, but I will say that the responses that we've had have been quality. And so if anybody wants to do that, just keep doing it.
And if they do it, they go to G My Joe, do their file card, and then tweet it with the hashtag
G My Joe.
G My Joe.
And then we'll
at us.
Yeah,
obviously.
We'll retweet it and stuff, and
maybe even talk about it.
But at the end of our Joe review series, we will draw a name, and somebody will
get some merch.
Some of our merch.
And yes. Ryan, refresh us on what that merch is.
Well, we currently have one poster and a button set, and then a TBD G.I. Joe related.
I thought you were working. Is that TBD announceable?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, man.
Oh, cool. It's a surprise.
I did think one thing.
It's a surprise to us, even.
I did think one thing, and maybe even in addition to like the G.I. Joe, because not everybody's so much into G.I. Joe, but like one thing could be the Autopod Decepticast T-shirt, the staff shirt that you are wearing currently.
That's right. It's episode 100.
Yeah, so I thought maybe
you guys maybe could have worn
that. Could be a prize. Now that's on air, so it probably has to be.
I will. It can be and will be, and it will just be the one I'm wearing, because that means I don't have to hand screen print another one. Yeah, I did it myself by hand.
Did like what, 5 of them?
I still have the screen that I used. I haven't cleaned it off, so I could print out a whole shitload of these babies. Mm-hmm. But I won't.
All right. So yeah.
So if you win, you'll have to tell us your shirt size.
Yep.
So that's the G My Joe
Currently,
challenge.
there are 2 people in the race right now.
All right, so
or 3. No, 2. I think it's 2.
2 as far as I know.
Okay, I think it's 2.
If there's a third, I guess we'll get to that next episode because what we're going to talk about is Alpha Magnus's submission, and his character's name is Cold Cock. And he's a covert melee operative. And the image here is, I don't know if it is a doctored image. It is Tom Selleck, Magnum PI himself, wearing a red straw hat. Do you think that's photoshopped, or do you think he wore that on an episode?
I can't
think
tell.
it's photoshopped.
But I assume it probably is.
Ryan, do you want to read the profile since you have it printed out in front of you?
Cold Cock, covert melee operative. File name, Thomas Mulligan Punchard IV. Primary military specialty, hand-to-face combat. Secondary military specialty, private investigator. Birthplace,
Let me see it. Kamehameha.
Kamehameha. I'm sorry. That's a
Hawaii.
terrible. Yeah, Hawaii. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. That's Cold Cock's way of life. He may offer you a beverage or simply ask a question, but when you're eating a knuckle sandwich from a man with a red hat, you might answer faster. Next time.
The G My Joe file card challenge graphic interpretamatron is not.
It's
very
not.
good
It's not
at,
awesome.
It cuts off your words.
It does. He's got a drinking problem and a revolving door of women at his door, and that's the way he likes it.
Cold Cock is a great name, first of all, and his real name, Thomas Mulligan Punchard IV, is a great name as well.
Absolutely.
There's a lot to like about this.
Yep.
And Cold Cock, that's a great G.I. Joe name.
I'd buy a Cold Cock action figure.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah.
Love it.
Also, guys, all hail Megatron.
Yes.
She's getting too many shouts out.
No, she's not.
She'll just slow it down.
She's putting in the work.
She deserves every single word.
Absolutely.
No,
And this file card is awesome.
Of course, Caleb
Close to
was.
Caleb's
I love
heart.
it. I love it so much.
Ryan, do you care to read this file card?
Absolutely. Code name, Shockwave. Lonely scientist. Primary military specialty, shock. Secondary military specialty, wave. Birthplace, Cybertron. It's just fucking Shockwave. That is the entirety of the card.
Brilliant.
That is,
and obviously the pictures of Shockwave.
Short to the point. Obviously, Hayl. All Hayl is like, yeah. Let's get back to Transformers, please.
I like how it's a picture of Shockwave, but it still has that G.I. Joe logo.
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
Maybe
you have to choose.
I can see Shockwave trying to like join like G.I. Joe or
Just
Cobra.
for friends.
Just for friends. Yes.
Please.
Someone talk to me.
I love it. So thank you all for your submission. Each of you at this point has a 50% chance of victory. So, maybe do your best to keep your friends from entering at this point.
I guess
because
that's true.
It's a coin flip, people. Unless we include you guys in the mix.
No.
You want that stuff?
No,
if you win, Ryan, you don't have to make a thing.
That's an excellent point.
Okay.
Oh, we got one more segment before we get into the episode proper.
That's right. So the day before recording, we threw out I don't want to call it a challenge, but a question on Twitter for content ideas, which we've covered that we are actually executing one of those content ideas. And also just general questions. I don't know what kind of ego-driven thing that is for us to be like,
I don't understand.
Questions for us as if we are qualified to answer any questions.
They're listening to us. I don't understand why you're so self-conscious about like asking people to ask us something.
I don't know.
I am definitely.
It implies
comfortable
expertise. All right. Well, I'm assuming you have everything printed out. Should we get Twitter up and see if there's anything you're missing on your printout?
I checked right before we started recording. I think we're good.
All right.
So if there is anything, we'll answer it next episode.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Building that tent, baby.
First up, we've got David. I'm sorry, David Cabal, who
of course our San Diego Connect.
Absolutely,
he's got the goods out there on the left coast.
His question was: after reviewing the Transformers '86 movie minute by minute, knowing what you know now, who is your favorite character specifically from the '86 movie? Congrats on 100. I'll go ahead and go since I prepared all this. I'm going to actually go with Ultra Magnus. And it's a boring pick and a weird pick, I understand.
Yourself.
But like, okay. I feel like the stalwart, like steadfast dude who just wants to do their job is really kind of underrated. Like he's not flashy, he's not exciting, he's just carrying out orders. He couldn't deal with that now, but he never asked to. And he didn't want to be leader, but he tried. And I mean, I did start thinking about it, like, what else could you have done on Junkion? He's protected everybody else, even though he got killed.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
That's a fair answer.
Sure.
I like Ultra Magnus.
Who doesn't? And like Robert Stack's voicing, I mean, he
did a great job.
Stellar.
Even though he was self-conscious about it himself.
That's true.
Caleb? Oh, you're looking at me like, you do it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can do it if you're not ready.
No, I mean...
You'll never be ready.
No, it's true. I might as well just get this over with. I mean, obviously, I would pick Shockwave. But
he did have a line in the movie.
But if I was going to go for somebody besides Shockwave, I like Unicron quite a bit.
Yeah. It definitely was a major new addition to the canon.
Mm-hmm. I like his lines.
Mm-hmm.
I like his dialogue. It's
It's true.
It's there's not a lot of it, but what's there.
But everything's magnanimous. Like it all hits.
Yes.
There's no wasted lines with Unicron for sure.
I can't. It's hard to pick up. It's hard to identify any flaws in Unicron. What he's saying, what he's after, what he's doing.
That's true.
And despite Orson Welles' disinterest, despite the fact that they had to process it so much, it all works.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We feel it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's a pro or something.
Yeah.
Who was on death's door.
It's like even though he's dying.
I've almost completed my circle of life. This is my magnum opus.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I've been working on it.
Aaron.
The question is favorite character.
Mm-hmm, from the 86 movie specifically.
I've just always liked Galvatron. That's
sure.
Not really. It doesn't feel like a very deep answer either. But I liked the transformation of Megatron to Galvatron.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the personality shift, and I like this mystery that lingers around whether he knew his former self or doesn't know his former self, and if he's basically a new entity. So yeah, I've always liked Galvatron guy, and I think he looks cool. He just looks awesome, and I love the design.
He's got a sweet ride.
He's
the revenge.
He's got a very sweet ride, which sometimes he just likes to stand on top of.
Yes, yes, the flat top
in space. I assume he has magnetized boots.
Well, he has the power of flight, so I guess he'll
catch up.
Whoa! All right, the next question from All Hail Megatron at our All Dead. Which Transformers character do you think the other two members of the podcast are most like?
Oh boy,
I had fun with this one. I went through a bunch of just Transformers profiles and just picking out what I thought was cute and funny. Mm-hmm. Aaron, I went with Warpath. Thinks he's more impressive than his comrades do. Likes to show off his sharpshooting. Boisterous, loudmouth, raucous sense of humor makes him welcome company. Vain, upset by even the smallest scratch to his gun barrel.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right. For Caleb, Wheelie.
Wheelie.
I'm just kidding. So, obviously I'm kidding. I went with Shockwave because Caleb empathizes with him so much.
I do.
I
don't know why I do. I'm not a lonely person.
No, not at all.
I gravitate towards his whole persona.
I did pick one for myself, which was not part of the question, but I'll wait until after to just say.
Just get it.
Maybe I'm jealous of Shockwave. Maybe I would wish I was
for the solitude.
Alone for the solitude.
You're like, I wish I didn't have a family.
No.
He just wants to
love
break.
My family. Yeah, there you go. Just want to break.
All right. Well, for myself, I picked Cosmos. Fast and intelligent, bored and lonely, Cosmos has reason to regret his abilities, which often separate him from his Autobot friends. Alas, his skills are far too extraordinary to ignore.
I thought you picked Cosmos because it has the word Cosmo in it.
Like the drink?
Because you love to drink.
Oh, who doesn't?
Drinky guy.
I am a woman in the 90s.
Sex in the City, let me tell you.
Holla.
I mean, Mr. Big, they didn't end up together. Wait, they did, actually.
I don't know anything
Back it
about
up.
that.
Shit.
See, this
state the question again.
I'll go.
Okay, go.
In the movie, what's the Dinobot that when he knocks the door down and then walks over, that shark kind of goes, "Excuse me."
Slag.
I associate Aaron with Slag.
Because of the destructiveness.
Sometimes he's unintentionally. He's just like a bull in a china closet. He's much better now, but he just was accident prone. He had a habit of like breaking stuff sometimes. So I had to go for
sometimes
something.
on purpose, sometimes accidentally. Sure.
Yeah, but a heart of gold, you know.
At least bronze.
Ryan, I would probably go with Cup.
I like that
because you're an old soul, and I mean that's.
I do feel like I was born as an old man.
I think you would probably, of most of them, you probably like hanging out with Cup.
I think so. I think that seems like, I like his war stories.
Ryan has grumpy tendencies.
It's true. I am a curmudgeon.
And but Cup, it doesn't act like a know-it-all, though.
Ryan also, and like Cup, Ryan
which is
also
why
likes,
Ryan is Perceptor for me.
Or Skylinks.
That's even better, actually.
I was going to say Ryan like Cup because he likes putting his hands down his pants and like rummaging around
you're not wrong.
in his crotch area.
I like it.
Yeah, but you're saying Ryan.
I'm going to go with Skylinks. Thanks for
Okay.
for correcting me there, because yes, Skylinks is pretentious.
Mm-hmm.
He believes he knows everything.
It's true,
and believes he's above all.
Which is all. I mean, it's not true for him, but is
true
real in the case of me.
And Caleb is, I'm going to say, a character he won't even know.
that fits perfectly.
Yes.
I'm going to say Caleb is Blue Streak. He's just a guy that shows up and gets
just
the job
around.
done. He's maybe got a couple good lines. Every line he says is quality, but just doesn't have that many lines.
I think Blue Streak's last appearance is the movie, and it's just a
he
throwaway. He's helping Cup put up the barricade.
Oh, that's right.
And that, I think, is his last terrible appearance.
He's a utility man.
Huh?
Wow.
Okay, cool.
All right, question answered. Moving on.
Okay. Our next one is from our friend Mike Seibert. Congrats on 100, guys. My question is probably better suited for an entire future episode, but briefly, what do you think is the better movie, G.I. Joe the movie or Transformers the movie? And
I guess that depends on how you define better.
I gotta make sure that I focus on which one is better rather than which one I like.
You don't have to. I didn't.
All right.
We haven't even finished G.I. Joe the movie, so
it's
that's
true.
an unfair question. I feel like we should put a pin in it.
Well, he just said better suited for an entire future.
That's true. I'll answer a little bit in brief. I mean, it's hard, because at the end of the day, they're kids' designed to make money, but it's what we felt about it that's important. I don't know if I can make an unbiased decision. I think technically, and from a storytelling standpoint, Joe is a more coherent and better done movie, but I like Transformers so much more, and it has just like a pure rewatchability. It's so grand and changed basically everything about the franchise. And I mean, just the fact you can find so much more information about the movie and so many more people talk about it, and it's like
it's held in higher regard.
It's true
as part of the zeitgeist.
And Joe never got a theatrical release, so maybe it's unfair. But I think just the emotional resonance and standing the test of time, Transformers is better.
From a pop culture standpoint.
And from my personal standpoint, again, for enjoyment, I just like it better.
I'm in the same boat as Ryan. I think that Transformers is for me, I think Transformers is probably actually a better movie because, oddly enough, I think its storyline is a bit more coherent.
Oh, okay.
It seems to be more focused somehow. I don't know. It's more compelling to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like G.I. Joe more because I keep coming back to this. But if Cobra Commander wasn't in the G.I. Joe movie, it would be a shit movie. Like, for some reason, it
is the emotional touchstone of that movie.
I don't know why. I talk about that over and over again. Like, I have no sympathy for Starscream, but for some reason, I with Cobra, like, he was the main bad guy, and then they flipped it on you, and then it becomes a sympathetic character, a pitiful character.
Yep.
So
we're just getting into that in our review of him changing into a snake.
A man.
A man. So that's my.
There you go.
It's kind of a flat.
Do you feel like
answer,
you didn't watch G.I. Joe the movie, or I'm sorry, Transformers the movie enough as a kid? Like, did you watch G.I. Joe the movie more as a kid?
I think so. I mean, I didn't rent it or anything, but I think it was on TV more for some odd reason.
Yeah. Well, it was only on TV.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Okay. But I mean, I think they would broadcast it on regular television more than Transformers. So I don't know. It was just, and I had more of the toys than Transformers. But I do think Transformers will stand the test. It has proven that it'll stand the test of time better than the other one.
Well, G.I. Joe is still around in various contexts.
Tough call.
I'll go with Transformers, but it's all personal. I do think there are things, basically repeat what Ryan said. There's things that are probably technically better about G.I. Joe the movie and more straightforward storytelling. Yeah. But I would say the story itself for Transformers the movie was more movie-like. It was more epic.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like G.I. Joe the movie was basically an extended episode of G.I. Joe.
Sure.
The only things that really made it sort of feel cinematic or just unique to an episode were some of the like backstory into Cobra Commander's life and all that kind of. But it's basically a Cobra scheme that they made into a movie where
Transformers, a literal like god coming to destroy.
Well, it was a pretty ballsy move to just. You know what? We're going into the future, first of all. Yeah. And also, we've got this crazy thing that is a threat to all Cybertronians. And so there was just a bigger, larger, epic, I think I said before. It's more epic.
And they doubled down and it worked.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Next, we have one. The question comes from Bono at Screams at Stars. What is your favorite minute of the 80s movie, and what is your favorite episode you've done so far?
By the way, Bono and our friend Dave Cabal both have the tendency, I've noticed, to
change up their
Twitter names quite a bit. I mean, I guess people have the right to do that, but why are y'all fucking with us?
My favorite minute, and I went through like just looking at the titles of our episodes, was minute number 12. It is the minute where, not only is my favorite song on the soundtrack "Dare" playing, but it's the part where there's an attack on Autobot City, and where Cup spins around and foils Blitzwing's Autobrat attack and shoots shrapnel. That was. If I had to pick one, that's up there. Maybe if I went through systematically, it wouldn't necessarily be there, but that's the one I chose. It's just really good animation, and really, it's a very dynamic minute. As far as the favorite episode, without going back to each one, in my memory, the most fun to record, and then also the most times, the one I've listened to the most is our Christmas episode, which is number 41. This is the fun part.
I was going to say that as well. I was going to deny the actual question.
Okay.
And say I don't know the answer to the movie, but I feel like the best episode where we were hitting on all cylinders was the Christmas episode. That was a lot of fun.
I bet you guys wish you were listening to that one.
I've listened to it probably 20 times because it legitimately makes me laugh. Favorite minute of the movie proper. I mean, the Unicron reveal is so good.
I thought about that one too.
That is so. I don't know why that's so tough.
Oh, I mean, what about Light Our Darkest Hour? What about
Light Our Darkest Hour is a great minute. I like the introduction to some of the spacier elements, like the Junkions and the Sharkticons and the Quintessons. Like all of that, I think is a lot of fun.
Kayla, I'll go with the movie first. I like Megatron's encounter with Unicron. Floating out there, and then he transforms him into when he transforms into the Galvatron. That's badass.
Your bargaining posture is highly dubious.
Yeah,
excellent.
My favorite episode that we've done.
Do you listen to our episodes?
Yeah, I listen to every single one because I read the
summary.
I
know you read the summary, but after that, like the polished version. I'm curious, do you?
Why would I do that?
Okay, great.
No, I do. I go back because I want to hear what you did for the intros and the outros.
Gotcha.
So what I do is when a new episode comes out, I listen only I listen to the intro and the outro.
Great.
Yeah. Otherwise, I've heard it. I mean,
I know. I listen to them anyway, even though I've heard them.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's good. I hope all of our listeners they revisit stuff. Me, not so much. I just don't do it.
Next question.
But I didn't answer what my favorite minute was.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were blowing past it.
Well, I'm trying to answer it. I think one of the more memorable ones is when I knew that we had something really really good is like when Kasem first came in.
Oh yeah.
And I knew that this is something that we can develop, and at that point I was like, I think we're gonna make it. I think we're gonna make it because we're
gonna Mary Tyler Moore our way through this.
We can bring in some different things and keep it interesting, and for not only for the listeners but for ourselves. And I think whichever episode that was, the Carbambia episode, or
it was fairly early.
Yeah.
I think
because we were talking about Kasem.
I knew that I knew at that point.
It was when Cliff Jumper.
Oh, we missed. We said he was Libyan, and he's actually Lebanese.
Right. So yeah, that's mine.
Sorry, Casey.
No, I do. That's one of my favorite things is the stuff that's grown up. What's the word I'm looking for? Not biologically, but just
organically.
Yes, thank you. The stuff that's grown up organically, like our characters.
Not biological, like Cobra La Tech.
Next question is
organic, like Cobra La Tech.
Absolutely. Is from our buddy Sean at Serge Bomba. I'm a voice actor nerd, so my questions will revolve around that. Best celebrity voices in Transformers the movie. He asked like 8 questions, so I simplified my answer. But best favorite voices in the movie, 80s series and beyond. Worst voices, and what other actors would you recast as Transformers voices? Same questions for G.I. Joe and Transformers at large.
We'll talk about Transformers only.
Well, first off, I think the voice actors for both were great. I mean, it seems like it was a more senior crew that did Transformers.
So definitely, they're all dead.
Yes, that's true. For me, and I mentioned this earlier, my favorite actor...
Well, Judd Nelson is not dead.
To me, he is. He knows what he did.
He knows why. My favorite celebrity voice actor was Robert Stack. I just thought he crushed Ultra Magnus. And as for recasting, I don't necessarily want. I don't really like. I prefer non-celebrity voice actors just because I can't imagine. I understand you're doing it to put butts in seats, but I can't imagine any traditional actor is going to be better than a trained like voice actor or somebody who's been in the business.
I mean, unless it's somebody that has a distinct voice or cadence that makes sense for the character.
It also kind of takes me out of it where I'm like, oh, that's Bruce Willis.
But it also feels like a dumb tactic because I feel like no celebrity voice attached to an animated movie actually got more than one butt in a seat.
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I don't know.
The kids were like, Mom, Dad, Robert Stack's in it. Let's go.
Anyway. I will say Sergeant Slaughter, every line he delivers is pretty awesome for the Joe. That's the extent of my answer for Joe.
For me, I think that the introduction of Susan Blue to the cast was really good. I think it was good to have a nice feminine presence, and I think she was a veteran by the time she was attached to it, but she did a great job and I think brought real emotion to a character and personality to a character that we never even met before. Like she had a pretty hard job, and it's true. Developing that relationship with Daniel, I think that was a pretty neat job. I also, even though I don't know if it's fair to say it feels like he phoned it in, but I really liked Leonard Nimoy as Galvatron.
I don't think he phoned it in. He did scales in the bathroom.
That's true. Good. 20 minutes. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Caleb?
I'd say the best for me is Chris Latta as Starscream. Mm-hmm. He's really talented, super dynamic. I like you said, I've heard him not in character, and it's just amazing that he can.
He has a hell of a range.
Yeah, so I was impressed with that. I'd say the worst is Wheelie.
Sorry, Frank.
I would probably, and not Frank's fault. It's just an annoying character, you know. I would probably replace the voice of Wheelie with just dead air. It's complete and utter silence.
What if Wheelie was replaced with Dave Chappelle?
That would be okay.
All right. I just picked him because I wanted him to be Rufus for some reason in Bill and Ted 3.
Our next question comes from, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, Jazzy Lee, at Jazzy Lely. Which moments do you personally believe are 1, the most iconic, and 2, the most underrated from the 86 movie? For me, in the same way that Citizen Kane should be automatically removed from the list of top movies of all time, I disqualified the death of Optimus Prime.
You think that Citizen Kane should be removed?
Because it's always number 1, so I think it's not even, we shouldn't consider it. which is
not fair. But
well, it's
they should. But
I'm just saying it's an obvious, easy choice, and so by that count, I'm not counting the death of Optimus Prime.
I mean, they obviously need to throw some other classics in there. I'd like to see Road Warrior put in there.
What about 2001?
I think 2001 is probably in that list for reals.
I went with something we mentioned earlier. The entire sequence where the dead, dying Decepticons are reformatted into the new Warriors by Unicron. It's something we've never seen before, and kind of just like is an example of how powerful and like godlike Unicron is to literally recreate life. For the most underrated, I feel like when Daniel saves Springer by knocking out Wreck-Gar is like really every moment whenever we start doing our presentation for TFCon. Daniel is very underrated and gets a lot of hate for this movie, when in actuality he's pretty awesome. Okay.
I'm just waiting to see if Caleb wanted to step up. I was trying to make it as awkward as possible.
Well, give me a second.
I'll go.
Okay.
While he chews on it, I think that to build on what you said, Ryan, around Unicron and his and how that reveal of the transformation sequence of the Decepticons into the new Decepticons, really just that first like opening sequence of that reveal of Unicron and how he attacked Lythone and destroyed it. I mean, that really gave you a sense right off the bat, like, what the fuck is this, and where did it come from, and where did these people come from? Are they related? It doesn't really matter. They're dead now.
Yes.
So it was a very well executed introduction to the primary villain of the movie, and a villain that is stuck around through all the various lores and remixes.
Keeps getting revisited
of the franchise. Most underrated from the movie. Man. I liked your Daniel quote, or your Daniel line of thinking. I wonder if the Quintessons get in a movie full of stuff. We didn't spend that much time with the Quintessons, and they decided to make them antagonists later on in the movie.
They play heavily into the episode we are definitely going to review in just a minute.
But I think I liked Quintessa. I liked the life that had developed on it. I want to know more about those creatures, and you don't really get much time with them, so I'll go with Quintessa and Quintesson related activity.
Yeah, good choice. It's all right, Caleb.
I can't even.
You don't have to.
No,
he's sick.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
He's struggling, and this is a long record session.
My mind is.
So
I'd be wasting everyone's time at this point.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Sorry, guys.
That's all the questions we had as of this recording.
Well, guys, thank you for submitting. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for helping us pad out this sweet content, because
I hope you enjoy this 2.5 hour episode that we've got going on.
I know that Caleb is enjoying it.
I'm fine. I'm just my brain is.
I was afraid you were flagging a little.
No. I'm just in a fog. I feel fine. I'm just in a fog.
That's okay. Quick episode setup. Normally at this point we do an episode recap, but since we are there's nothing really before this to recap.
Sure.
Just a little bit of background about the episode that we're about to do, Dark Awakening. It is written by Antoni Zalewski, who wrote for He-Man, Challenge of the GoBots, Superpowers Team, Galactic Guardians, and Defenders of the Earth. Also something called Potato Head Kids. I don't remember that.
Interesting.
Peter Pan and the Pirates, I do remember that as part of the Fox lineup.
Yep.
He did one other Transformers episode, 1985's Auto Berserk, which is the episode you might recall where Red Alert goes crazy. And he did a couple of G.I. Joe episodes, Cobra War, Chunnel, United We Stand, but all of those are part of that kind of Series 2 revival that was not done by Sunbow, but was done by the DIC, but had some of the same voice actors and basic character designs and all that. It originally aired as episode 8 of season 3. However, it was rebroadcast toward the end of the season as a lead-in to the return of Optimus Prime, but with an altered ending narration from Victor Caroli. The one we're looking at today is the original OG version.
That's right.
And the version we're watching is from a boxed set that Caleb and Ryan actually bought me probably close to a decade ago. Transformers, the complete series set. Shout Factory. It's a really nice, there's 16 DVDs in a box that has a big graphic of the Matrix of Leadership on it, and you have to pull it from both sides in order to reveal the crystalline matrix inside, and then peel away some cardboard and get to them DVDs. We should create a GIF of this. If I could get both sides to open at once, it would be more effective, but I can't.
I'm glad you brought up the writer. Actually, I don't know if you had this in your notes, but the beginning of this episode is almost directly lifted from an episode he wrote of the Superpowers team Galactic Guardians called The Ghost Ship, where there's a space chase, an escape pod, and the Spikes line, we'll see, it's the size of Manhattan, is a direct quote from that episode.
That's really interesting. He plagiarized his own work.
It seems like a lot of writers did that. They just like recycled a bunch of stuff for
Hey,
shows.
is this for kids? Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them if they can't take a goat.
Well, let's get into it.
Let's do this.
All right, guys. So here we go. Dark Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have any notes about the show intro, but I believe this would just be your standard season 3 intro.
It's the snuff version of that movie Awakenings with Robert De Niro and Robin Williams.
Explain.
Dark Awakenings.
Oh, okay.
It's a play on the name. Come on.
Okay. I like the third season music. Caleb and I have been talking about this. Like, there's like almost a sort of hip hop beat to it. Would you not call it a hip-hop beat?
No, probably more like electro.
Okay, electro. Yeah, I'll go with that. And I like
we
the...
used to do we used to do choreographed like punches and
karate
stuff.
moves to it.
Right.
Yeah, for some reason.
Yeah, it's fun.
I never noticed in the intro that almost every wipe is a thing becoming another thing. Like Metroplex and Trypticon spin into Saturn's rings, and then Wheelie's tire turns into Galvatron's cannon, and then Blaster's sound waves turn into the water ripples that the Sharkticon dives into.
Very creative. Did you also notice that at this sequence where the characters are running toward the screen, what characters do you think those are, Ryan?
Well, it looks like Rodimus, Cup, and Ultra Magnus.
I feel like you know where this is going, but that is not, in fact, Cup. It is Springer.
Is it?
Colored in with Cup's decos.
I've never noticed that.
Give it
There's a lot of miscoloring in this episode. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I always thought that was Cup.
They murdered they murdered the coloring on this intro.
Also, why not put Rodimus in the middle?
Because he
Good point.
sucks.
He does suck. I do have some pretty bad Rodimus.
Actually, was there not a question where they asked us which Transformers character we relate to the most?
You relate to Hot Rod? Is that what you're
I feel like I relate to Rodimus.
Why?
Oh.
But we can get into that. We'll break that down another Joe episode. This episode opens in the middle of a chase. Hot Rod, Ultra Magnus, RC, Cup, Spike, Daniel. They are in an Autobot shuttle, as it is properly called, and are being chased by Galvatron, Cyclonus, the Sweeps, in their own ship, the Revenge.
And they're chased through an asteroid field. There's some smooth-ass asteroids. It's like the Milk Dud Nebula.
And it makes sense that they're being chased by the Decepticons because their shuttles, they're always getting chased by the Decepticons.
They're never proactive.
No, never ever. Always reactive.
Yeah.
Yes, at this point, they're taking fire. The Decepticons are creaming us, as Spike states it. Hot Rod notes that they need to cover. They're heading through an asteroid field. And also, despite the fact that they're being chased, Autobot ships, are they just not armed?
It's true. They never fight back.
And I made me realize, like, is there an Autobot shuttle that hasn't been
wrecked?
Destroyed?
Yeah.
Or attacked and destroyed?
Think about it.
The only one I can think of is the one where Prime and the Dinobots arrive on Earth during the movie.
Yeah, but that one, doesn't that one later?
It's possible, yeah.
So that one,
that's one of the ones like that they separated the 3/4 as far as we know.
Okay. I think you're right.
Well, yeah.
They don't land. They just crash.
They just crash.
Or get blown up
even
in
on
space.
even on the series, like the original series, like the Autobots crash land.
Episode 1.
Yes.
Their base is a crashed shuttle.
Which is maybe a metaphor for their whole regime.
Yeah, they just crash everything.
Also, speaking of crashed, though, I feel like this is a little bit out of continuity because I think the Revenge was destroyed in the battle on Unicron.
I think it was too. It was like a throwaway scene. But
so I don't know if that was an accident or
maybe there was another ship in the wreckage of Unicron that looked exactly like the
just
Revenge.
like Cyclonus has an armada.
That's right.
The Revenge has an armada.
Right.
We just didn't ever see. From inside the Revenge, we see Galvatron.
This is crazy.
He's Skyping with some Quintessons here. It seems that the Quintessons have helped lead the Decepticons to the Autobots somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And with a very heavy glaze of sarcasm, Galvatron says that the Quintessons are loyal allies as long as it suits their purposes.
Yeah, that's so weird because that's kind of just the definition of an ally. Like...
I mean, I guess, you're friends with everybody as long as there's a mutual benefit.
Like he's offended that they're not just doing it just
out of like altruism for the Decepticons. Yeah. And then he shoots the screen like Elvis.
Yes, it's so funny.
So I'm pretty sure there's an off switch.
That is it.
Yeah.
They just have to replace it every time because he doesn't know how to turn it off.
But fortunately, the purposes of the Quintessons, they coincide with Galvatron's
and then I'm like,
for the moment. Like, and now he's talking about he's ready to backstab them if he needs to.
But also he's like, oh, fortunately our purposes coincide. Then why are you mad?
Yeah, what's going on here?
This sounds like a business arrangement.
Yeah.
You don't have to be partners forever. That's not how it goes. The Revenge continues the chase through the asteroid field. They fire on some asteroids. They realize that the Autobots are getting away. So then they blast out some torpedoes.
I wonder if they're molecular missiles.
They called them torpedoes.
Oh, all right.
But did they call them molecular missiles?
I think it's just in the script, maybe.
Okay. The Autobots pick up the torpedoes on their monitor and note that they'll never be able to outrun them, particularly with one engine down. That's new news.
Mm-hmm.
And Rodimus notes that they only then have one option. So the torpedoes close in on the Autobot shuttle from behind. We see them. Go ahead.
I love Spike in the seat at 1 minute 46 in.
Just a little man in an
tiny
Autobot
little
seat.
Human in an Autobot seat.
Does his outfit have an S on it? If we were to get
no,
it
it does.
closer?
I don't think it does. I think it's just Daniel.
I really wish it did.
Yeah, that'd be the best.
The torpedoes close in, and we see them connect on the back half of the ship.
Hitting it from the back.
That's right. And there's a giant explosion. Autobots are dead. Episode is over. And we know this because Cyclonus exclaims, "The end of Rodimus Prime!"
That's right.
And Galvatron is not convinced. He wants to examine the debris and make certain that the Autobots are all dead.
So he's learned from his mistakes.
Yeah, it seems that way. I like how the Autobots are just playing the same tricks all in it all goes to Caleb's theory. I mean, these guys are not proactive. They're not innovative. They're poor military strategists. They rely on might alone, defensive might, not even offensive might.
In our previous coverage of the movie, in the script, it does say that they fooled Galvatron by inverting polarities the same way they did on Beta 7 or whatever. So they just we stick with what works.
I wish I knew football well enough to know, is there like a football metaphor to this? Like John Madden always used the Statue of Liberty.
Tough actin' to actin'.
Okay.
I don't know.
I should have known better than to try and bring a sports metaphor into this conversation. So the show reveals, as we've just spoiled, that it's a classic ruse. At the last second, the Autobots used a life pod to save themselves. And Ultra Magnus notes that without communication, it will be months until they're found. First of all, why months? Why not years? Why not never? Also, why is there not communication on this?
Yeah.
That seems like that would be a basic minimum.
It does seem like number 2 or 3 on the list of things you want on a rescue ship. Like a life pod is what they call it.
Speaking of things you might want on a rescue ship if you have human allies, Spike questions that he and Daniel, as oxygen-breathing members of the human race, might have limited options when their air runs out. Hot Rod explains they have two choices.
Rodimus, please. He's still Rodimus.
That's right.
He wants very badly to be Hot Rod.
As we'll see.
Yes.
Suffocate or smother. So
always the best, most empathetic leader.
That's why I identify with him.
They seem pretty chill about it. Like Spike has his arms
and legs
crossed. He's just chilling.
Yeah.
And they're going to die.
I do like how nobody really seems that concerned. It's horrific. Just imagine if the Autobots actually had to watch Spike and Daniel die. Like that. Like they're just suffocating.
Shh, go to sleep.
I don't think they'd really
It's almost over.
I don't think they'd really be that... They would really care that much. They just don't seem to...
I feel like RC would care.
Yeah.
Maybe the only one.
Hot Rod and Daniel used to be friends.
Exactly.
Did they once he became Autobot leader, he just became above Daniel.
It does seem like when he became Rodimus, he was like, my babysitting job is over.
Right. I'm a leader now.
I'm scraping you off, you fucking little boy.
I mean, that's what I do with every promotion I get. I kind of just shit on my heel, just get rid of people I used to talk to.
You know what they say about stepping on people on the way up? You get to step on them on the way down. You get 2 chances to fuck them over.
I don't know how I managed to keep you barnacles in my life.
Because we won't go away.
Yeah.
That's number one. Point number one. Number two is there's no life support system. So how are they even breathing in here in the first place? Is it just excess oxygen from the main ship?
I mean, I guess it must be...
And why is there oxygen in the main ship?
I can only assume...
These ships weren't designed for human piloting or
true.
Recreational just being there.
And it must have been retrofitted, to provide life support for humans. So I guess that's why it's really dodgy as to whether the oxygen's going to hold out in any given situation.
Next question. They're pulling a version of the same trick they pulled in Transformers the movie. Why didn't they just keep the whole first quarter of the ship, which I'll assume had maybe all of the benefits of oxygen and communication?
No, this time it's a life pod. Yeah.
And we already covered no communication in the life pod. So we'll move on. The Autobots discover a giant mass of sorts in front of them. They deduce that it's probably better to land there and explore than watch Spike and Daniel asphyxiate.
Well, so we're assuming there's not... I have this in later in my notes, but spoiler, it's the Autobot Mausoleum, and it is a Manhattan-sized ship that... is full of oxygen, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, and it seems like everyone forgot about it.
That's another thing. Well, we'll get there. I have notes on that too, but I did just have a note on when we see the Decepticons here, some of the Seekers.
Back to the Revenge.
And and Scourge and the Revenge.
We see a giant version of the Coneheads and Sweeps flying alongside the Revenge. We see that they too have discovered the giant vessel. I guess we are to assume that they have examined the debris and deemed it...
not sufficient.
Not sufficient to keep moving through space.
How could you tell? How could you possibly tell?
I mean, I don't know, an arm or something floating around in space, a severed human head, perhaps. I don't know.
And I think here we have the Coneheads. We have Dirge and
Ramjet, Thrust.
Yeah, I think Thrust must be miscolored as Dirge. Because two of them have Dirge colors.
Yeah, that's true. Yep, that's a fact.
So
in fact, that's actually in the lower left-hand corner. That is, do we say Dirge colors?
Yeah,
that's Dirge colors, but that's like a typical Seeker. That's not even
one of the Coneheads.
Ramjet's style. Like he would be white and red.
Mm-hmm.
Now they fucked up.
But apparently Unicron, to answer our question we asked, did not chomp them.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and you know what? To be fair, I think they are in Five Faces of Darkness.
Five Faces of Darkness. I've got Irish.
So it could be that...
Yes, the fifth face.
Perhaps, with all the Seekers, there are maybe clones of them. I don't.
We'll see. We'll see clones of things later in this episode as well.
Yeah. This movie is this episode is very destructive.
I have notes on that. We'll get there. I'll go ahead.
The Decepticons they discover the same vessel and they plow ahead. And Galvatron's very interested in whatever the fuck this is. How do you land that thing?
I presume you have
The
to send
Revenge.
shuttles like the Enterprise. It
Like
can't
they
land
float.
on a planet.
They just float and send shuttles
Yeah.
because there's no
Sounds
like
about right.
that thing looks very Enterprise inspired, honestly. Or would you say you nerds say it's more
I don't think it
Romulan
looks
or
like any of the vessels, really.
okay? All right. So the Autobots are back. We're back to them, and they're flying over the giant vessel, and this is where Spike describes it as the size of Manhattan. It is revealed to be a tomb built by the Autobots as a final resting place for the Autobots that were lost in the Great War.
Mm-hmm. I have so many questions.
And Daniel says, like Optimus Prime? And the Autobots nod in silence.
Yeah.
The ship flies down. Oh, go ahead.
Here's my questions. You built an enormous tomb, which you not only don't know the location of, but don't recognize until you're right on top of it. Why even build it? Why not jettison the bodies into space? In like that big
If you are going to build it, why not build it on Cybertron?
Exactly. Why not put it on Cybertron?
I would. Yeah, that's true. I would recycle. I mean,
why not recycle the bodies?
Yes.
Or why not do anything like a normal fucking sentient species?
Sentient species bury things. I can think of at least one sentient species that buries its dead, or burns its dead, and scatters its dead, or sends it out on an iceberg, or fucks its dead.
like Aaron's the next half hour is Aaron or hanging it like put it in a tree, or maybe put it on a boat, or
you just make a rug out of it,
as we saw on the last episode of Game of Thrones. No spoilers. Or put it up on a wall with a spiraled bunch of arms around it.
2/3 of a side.
Kind of a spoiler.
Yeah.
They don't know. They don't remember this thing. At least the Decepticons had their memorial.
Yeah,
I could make an argument that maybe if the Transformers were a sort of a discovery-based species, that you could say that there's a metaphor for putting them on a ship like this and just sending it out haphazardly into space.
A barge.
Maybe
it's a funeral barge.
I guess maybe. All right.
But they found it again.
They found it. Here it is.
Well, I do like
very convenient, and it has oxygen because it was built after their interactions with humans. Maybe sometime some kids are going to want to come up here. And see
even
these
though
dead
it's
bodies.
the size of Manhattan, which is 13 miles by 2 miles, which is 22 square miles of real estate. I will say I do like Rodimus's line here where he says, "Nothing in there can hurt us, Daniel." I thought that was a nice line.
Yeah.
Which is not true at all.
Nope.
It's revealed as a tomb. The ship flies through some corridors, through a giant door with an Autobot symbol on it.
I like that door.
And it ultimately lands on in front of some Tesla coils and drapes of fog floating behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we started to mention this a little bit earlier, aping from the Cobra Law formula of naming convention. Cup tells us that this is the Veil of Remembrance. And this is a memorial to the fallen Autobots.
In Cobra Law, it was the Web of Remembrance.
So they had a web of remembrance, and this is a veil of remembrance.
And this is more of a web because you could argue it's more webby, but whatever. And
it's interesting.
I mean, the Veil of Remembrance was really nothing.
I like that. Do they just walk through it, or is it a curtain, or is it like
it seems to be just fog of some sort.
Yeah.
Even though, from an animation standpoint, they had to put a border. But
it was very awkward the way they walked through it.
It's
not
true.
Like you saw
they didn't
poofs
fade
of smoke or steam. Anyway, so everybody pops out of the ship. They start walking down some of the hallways and corridors. Daniel separates himself from the group for some reason.
Yep.
He turns down a hallway.
Nice job, Spike.
Yeah, no kidding. You have one job. Make sure your son lives.
It's like Carly, I lost him again.
Daniel reads the nameplates from some of these tombs that we see. We'll remember some of them as dying on screen. Ironhide, Ratchet, Prowl. He reads one that is news to me. Huffer, apparently, died during that war.
Well, I thought that was interesting, too, that they didn't read Brawn.
Well,
which
or Wheeljack.
Well, it's also led to some like fun because the first 3 he rattles off died on the Autobot shuttle, but they leave out Brawn, and so that's led to like some fan stuff of like, oh well, he survived that shoulder shot.
Mm-hmm. I could see how that could contribute, but there's a lot of tombs here. Apparently, a lot of other Autobots died.
Yeah.
He can be among them.
Yeah, Daniel's just wandering around scratching the surface. Really,
that's true.
Which kudos to the Autobots for just letting a child just run around on his own into a place into a
mausoleum.
Yeah,
it's pretty typical.
A particularly creepy place. Yeah.
I mean, I think they've proved themselves to not really care that much about the welfare of
Another
the child.
question I have is, why are the controls for some of these at human child level?
That's a great question.
It's like they made this
like a joke,
just to fuck with Daniel, just to scare him.
Yeah, it's true. From behind Daniel at this point, we see he's being watched by some.
It's a terrible reveal.
Unknown entity. This entity has white thighs and blue calves. And little like fuel containers on the upper.
It's
side.
Optimus Prime.
What? Are you serious, dude?
Yeah, dude. Just like that guy that ruined the
end game.
Yeah,
for me. Well, fuck you, Caleb. Daniel touches his perfectly placed control panel. The power goes out.
See,
he just starts hitting it with his fist.
I think it's the background's supposed to be darker or something because it doesn't. Optimus Prime doesn't come out of the shadows.
Yeah.
He just appears with cobwebs on him.
I think the animators were in over their heads at this point.
It's true.
They were like, how the fuck are we going to do this? And he does have cobwebs as if he's been standing next to that wall for 100 years and as if spiders were on this vessel. You could maybe...
I could let it go as like... Because
electricity?
A lot of cobwebs are actually not spider webs, but dust webs that have just built up over time. Sure. But that again implies he's been standing there and not in his tomb.
And we just saw him move moments ago behind Daniel. So Daniel turns around. He sees this horrific corpse, and he screams and runs away. He bumps into more control panels. He opens a tomb. He reveals the corpse of some other unknown Autobot.
This episode really creeped me out as a kid.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons, but it's fucking... Like, even the sound whenever that tomb opens.
Yeah, well, there's like a howling noise.
Yeah, it's like a legit horror movie noise. And it's fucking creepy.
So this rusted tin cadaver falls to the ground, narrowly missing the opportunity to finally kill Daniel once and for all. He gets back to the group. He tries to tell everybody, hey, I saw Optimus Prime, everybody, but, they don't believe him.
Yeah,
I will say...
Yes, we all miss him, or something like that.
He says, I saw something, or something like that, and there is a grammatically correct where they say, you saw whom?
I actually noted that as well. Ultra Magnus says
Yes, Ultra Magnus.
It would be Ultra Magnus, personally.
Since Perceptor's not here, it's up to him.
But Rodimus, nobody believes him, but Rodimus bites, and he decides the team must go into the burial chamber of Optimus Prime and check and see if his body is still inside. So the team advances back through the Veil. Rodimus notes that if Optimus Prime were alive, the Matrix would have told him somehow. I feel like they could have done a better render of Optimus Prime in this.
They went to a lot of trouble to build this place.
They didn't even center. Why didn't they center the coffin on the platform? That feels like an engineering
It's
mistake.
off to the left a little bit. This whole mausoleum seems way overbuilt. Like there's a lot of empty space.
Like Cybertron is like falling apart.
I know how much resource went into building this.
They're dumping all of their money into this.
I have to assume that it's inspired by Egyptian pyramids and things like that, right? Sarcophagi. But Hot Rod opens the coffin. By the astounded look on everyone's faces, we can surmise that the coffin is empty. But luckily for us, that's validated by this shot here of an empty coffin.
Oh, shit.
This should have been like our Easter episode.
I saw a lot of He Is Risen with Optimus Prime on there, but it was usually the Skylinks and Quintesson one, which, depending on what version you're watching, is the next episode.
Right, that's true. There is a lot of confusion about episode order, and it's mostly caused by the fact that they yoinked this out of sequence.
Out of continuity.
But so somehow Rodimus knows, he just knows that Decepticons are in the building.
Yeah.
And they run back through the Veil only to be immediately ambushed.
Yeah, there's no clear indication of how he knows the Decepticons. There's not even a noise to my understanding. I didn't hear anything. But and so they go.
Does the Matrix give you spider sense?
Yes, and so they go in there and they just get their, as per usual, overwhelmed.
Right, and Ultra Magnus actually says at this point, there are too many of them, to which I would reply, no, there aren't.
There are 3.
You have, I see Galvatron, 2 Sweeps, and Cyclonus.
Yeah.
I think you are like almost 1 for 1 on your robot situation here. They quickly dispatch some of the Sweeps. Mm-hmm. Galvatron transforms. He destroys the life pod.
Yes.
Which it seems to be like he's doing that to make a point that now they're stranded, right? Like that's why you would do this,
I guess.
And, well, more on that later.
Well, keeping their perfect record of losing every ship they fly.
Thank God. But the battle continues. Our team...
thing, Cyclonus materializes a gun just out of thin air, like out of hammer space.
That goes into the idea of the alternate universes and the pocket universes or dimensions. Yeah, that they
bag of holding.
They either keep their trailers in or whatever their weapons.
And I will say, in one of the commercial breaks on here, which I'm glad, I really enjoy that Shout Factory kept the commercial bumpers in here.
Yeah.
But Blur materializes a gun in the same way.
Oh, does he?
In one of the bumpers.
I didn't note that. We're in full-on battle mode. RC, poor girl, takes what I would call a very direct shot.
Right to the kneecap.
She takes it poorly. I mean, she screams in agony. And when everybody comes up to her to kind of check on her, she says it's just an exostructure wound, which...
Like a flesh wound.
Why? First of all, that was a direct hit. And are the Decepticons phasers set to stun?
Well, Galvatron's previous... kind of fire destroyed their whole shuttle.
I think it was Cyclonus.
So now they just kind of injured her.
Yeah, but why? Again, why would they have weapons that don't?
Yeah,
that should have knocked her fucking leg off.
Maybe she's really reinforced.
Should have blown her leg off.
Yeah,
absolutely.
She got them knee pads.
Mm-hmm.
She's a skateboarder, and she takes it.
She was a skater.
She's about safe.
She said, "See you later, girl."
Right, exactly. You know where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Rodimus says that really there's only one way out, and they've got to retreat through the Veil of Remembrance. And
retreat to a dead end.
It's their only chance for some reason. And Galvatron gives chase. He ultimately delivers an arm cannon shot that knocks the Autobots down from the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Galvatron notes the convenience of killing Rodimus here because they could just lay his wreckage aside the body of his mentor.
It's poetic. There are a lot more sweeps here that just showed up behind him. So I guess they did have a superior focus.
So they are outnumbered. Well, why did we give him that credit then? Speak of the devil. At this point, Optimus Prime appears. And even though he's cracked and rotting, he has the power to gun down the bad guys and demand that they leave this place or die.
Yeah, he's got some heavy firepower.
As Prime tends to do, he turns the tide, and the Autobots push the Decepticons off the ship. They celebrate their victory as Optimus walks through the Veil. And at this point, we go to commercial.
Mm-hmm.
The Transformers will return after these messages. We now return to the Transformers.
So the commercial sequence, as Ryan alluded to, the first one we get is Trypticon in battle station mode, then in
one of the
Dino mode, and then we get a little Sharkticon action.
His arms go into his mouth. It's a weird transformation.
Hang on, I want to watch that again. Yeah, I mean it's a little dodgy.
Yeah,
but it works. We're back from commercial. Our Victor Caroli bumper sequences are complete, and Optimus. He emerges from the Veil. He approaches Hot Rod and he grunts. First thing, is it safe? That was my Chad James.
That was the worst Optimus Prime
let's see if you got a better one.
Is it safe?
All right.
Is it safe?
That's so.
Caleb, you've got a deep voice. Give it a shot.
Can you play it real quick with the audio so I can hear him say it? Is it safe?
I still think it was better than ours.
I don't know.
We don't have the
but he's
deep timbre
he's
of
troubled.
Peter Cullen.
He's definitely troubled.
Yeah, the Matrix. Yes, I've been keeping it warm for you. Hot Rod, just right off the bat. No questions asked. Starts to open his chest.
He can't get the Matrix out of his chest and over to Optimus fast enough.
Even Ultra Magnus is like, hey, maybe give him a day or something. But Rodimus is like, nah, man, he's the least curious person that's ever existed. Hey, he's back, and who cares how? Didn't he see Pet Cemetery? Sometimes dead is better.
Yeah, this is the leader of the Autobots.
Right. Yeah. They're in bad shape. But to be fair, they've always been a chaste species, and by chaste I mean not virgin-like, but always pursued. Mm-hmm. And Cup at this point asks Optimus what he's been through, and he says, darkness, cold, and then light. And Daniel suggests that maybe Optimus has been in a coma. Optimus mumbles that he must complete plan. And so we end up in some kind of, I don't know, lack of a better phrase, a workshop that we see that Optimus has been building an escape ship. I can tell by
big ass escape ship.
I can tell by Ryan sighing that we're in some troubled territory.
More so in a little bit, but like I can buy that maybe he cobbled together the pieces.
He's been around long enough.
That he's building a ship.
We don't know how long he's been alive. In quotes.
Might have some issue with something that happens later concerning a ship.
We are in the workshop. Just the very fact that this workshop exists gives Rodimus all the impetus he needs to rush Optimus and force him to take the Matrix. And it's apparent that not only does Optimus not want it, it's actually hurting him, but still he manages to shove it inside his chest.
Well, a couple things prior to that, like Rodimus says, you still think he's unfit to lead us, and sprints down the steps, which to that I say, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer worked in a chocolate factory. Ed Gein built furniture out of people. Like, just because you're crafty doesn't mean that you're competent. Ed Gein had a memory vest.
Wait a minute. I really I hesitate to give you this leeway. I don't know who these serial killers are, but mostly I think in the past you've dealt with mainstream serial killers who I've kind of known the basics around. You're dropping some deep
I said
cuts.
Jeffrey Dahmer and Ed Gein too.
I don't know Ed Gein.
Ed Gein was the inspiration for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Technically, he wasn't a serial killer. I mean, he did kill 2 people, but mostly he just dug up corpses and made them into furniture.
So which one was the breast vest?
Ed Gein.
Okay, so and did he take multiple breasts?
It was the breast from one woman, but yeah, he took a bunch of parts.
Okay, so there wasn't like one vest that had a lot of breasts.
No, it wasn't like a pig, like with teats all the way down.
Were they appropriately positioned on the vest?
Yeah, he wanted to be a woman.
Okay, all right.
This was in the 1950s.
All right, moving on. Sorry, everybody.
Well, I will say, to your point, Aaron, that...
had to get my head around this.
He does try to give back the Matrix, which I guess technically is good storytelling, but even as a kid I was like, oh no, clearly Optimus Prime doesn't want to take it. Right. Which leads to the flip side of Rodimus is a dumb shit.
Optimus's mannerisms at this point are how I will feel when it becomes time for my proctological exam.
Shouldn't you have already done that?
I thought 45.
Oh, is it?
45 usually.
I never
depends.
know.
I've
been doing it since 20.
What?
No, it's just fun.
I've had exam. I've had proctology exams. They're fine.
They're fine.
Prime takes the Matrix, and it is instant Botox for Hot Rod. He loses his age lines. He shrinks down a little bit. And you know what? Guys, let's party.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, remember when I kind of helped get Optimus killed?
No responsibility.
Yeah, that's it.
It does seem like, to your point, Caleb, like he can't get rid of the Matrix fast enough to revert back to Hot Rod.
That's all he cared about. The second he saw Optimus, it wasn't like, oh my God, you're still alive, or how are you still alive? It's like, here, take this thing right
Please.
now. Are we to assume that with or without the Matrix comes all sense of responsibility? Do we believe that he just never wanted it and just couldn't wait to get rid of it? Or that now that it's gone, he's like,
I don't think he learned anything.
I don't know.
They don't really depict him to be a very good leader at all, do they?
There's very few spots where they do.
Hot Rod is very happy, but Optimus Prime is not so happy, and he asks his audience to please forgive him. And at this point, he fires on Hot Rod,
and I'm like, "Yay, he's dead!"
He fires on the rest of the Autobots, and they have to take cover. And Optimus is already conflicted. He said, "What have I done?" He activates an auto-destruct sequence.
The biggest buttons that have ever existed.
Well, yeah, those are huge buttons.
Wow. That is a whack-a-mole right there. And he then bugs out in a giant vessel that he's been working out that is his escape pod, and he's done so. See you later. We can see that the mausoleum has the sparks flying are supposed to,
I'm not sure
I
what
guess,
that's meant to indicate.
Impress upon us that the ship is in problems, right? And meanwhile, the Autobots, they recover. Daniel and Spike, who should be dead as they are covered by tons of metallic wreckage. But it's okay. Everyone's okay. Hot Rod notes that Prime must have had a plan because he didn't kill them. And Cup notes that they're all about to die because this fucker is heading into a giant red sun. Where are you guys on this so far?
Hot Rod's an idiot. It's more the same. It's just like, he still believes in Optimus,
which makes sense. Although why Optimus wouldn't explain the plan and just
he can't,
and he just shot at all
Optimus
of them.
is
no,
Optimus
I know.
Is,
I'm saying, but from
inhibited.
I'm saying, but from his perspective, he doesn't know that.
Right. No, I mean, no. He made some decisions really quickly that he.
I love when we go to Cybertron here. I love the wee sound effects that like always come with being on Cybertron, like the theremin like noises.
We flash forward to Cybertron, as Ryan indicated, and guess what? Optimus is there. And I assume by the shock and joy of having Optimus Prime back has already passed, because we see a group of Autobots, Perceptor, Grimlock, Springer, Skydive. They're nonchalantly standing by and just listening to Autobot Optimus spin a lie about Hot Rod, Cup, and RC all dying to save them. Grimlock has an inappropriate comic temper tantrum. This takes up 16 seconds.
I timed it too. It's way too long. Like half of it, there's no dialogue, and it doesn't. 16 seconds don't sound like much, but I'm gonna drop it in for the listener right here.
Grimlock dumped Quintesson's flat into ground.
You see how fucking fucked up that is? That's crazy.
So Prime immediately tells the Autobots that they are mobilizing against the Quintessons. This is happening now. No waiting period. No restroom breaks. We got to deal with this.
We got some shuttles
It's
to
like,
crash.
Prime, maybe you want to lay down. You don't look great.
Oh, by the way, welcome back. This is amazing.
Oh, I forgot to mention that Springer vows to avenge his friends.
I mean it, RC.
Those 5-faced tentacled slime are going to pay for this, but good. I mean it, RC.
Yeah.
What?
Which I guess...
Is he a brother? Is he a boo? Is he a boo brother, as I see in all these modern day pornographies?
I hate that. I hate that there's so much of that. I don't know why we have to have sex with our stepsisters.
I grew up with a guy that had sex with his stepsister.
That's true.
And
it's just like, we don't need a story. Yeah. I don't need you to be my stepmom.
Moving
but
on.
yeah, it is like there's definitely, I guess that is where I'm receiving my romantic overtones that I apply to the movie, is that I guess there are definitely some indications in the series.
But he could have reacted the same if it was a sister mentality.
Nah.
Somebody murders my sister, I'll be like,
well, technically they're all brothers and sisters.
I don't know how
they're all made from the creation matrix or Primus.
That's not in this universe.
Well, then
we don't know. Actually, they're all made by Quintessons in this universe. Yeah.
I don't get a brother.
Yeah.
I don't get a brotherly sense from it.
All right, well, there's no way to tell. So we go to the Quintessons here. They basically can see everything that Optimus Prime can see.
Right.
They know the Autobots are coming for them, which is perfect because it's all a part of their diabolical plan.
Yeah, they laugh. Ha ha ha.
This part where Ultra Magnus, we go back and Ultra Magnus is like, let's hope this little improvisation gets us home.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're back at the mausoleum. Cup says it's time to say our goodbyes to the tomb because it's about to be lost to the star. If you've been following, you would think that he's also saying it's time for all of us to say goodbye because we're gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
But yes, somehow Ultra Magnus has built a ship, a fully functioning ship.
I know. It's like, I can buy that maybe Prime over a couple weeks did it, but then again, also, my question is, why didn't the Quintesson just give Prime a ship? And then it leads me to believe, like, what we'll find out later is this all a Quintesson plan. Why even... So it must just be complete coincidence the Autobots found the mausoleum. Like, they didn't play into the Quintesson plan at all. It's just coincidence.
I mean, I guess unless it was a long game, like the Quintessons were like, eventually the Autobots are going to come back here. This is where their buried people are. I mean, the Autobots are a sentimental species. No. Of course they'll come back and visit their dead.
All it does is complicate it because that's what leads to the end of the plan is that they don't die. So Quintessons never wanted anybody to find the ship because Optimus just has to lie.
I still don't understand why there's a logical fallacy there because Optimus can just hang there and wait and they're in control of him. So as soon as anybody shows up, they can like execute whatever their end.
But they don't. Nobody needs to.
For all we know, Optimus's ship has been done for months.
That's what I'm saying. Is that them showing up only makes the plan not work. Like, why didn't Optimus just fly to Cybertron? Like them showing up is what fails the plan.
I see what you're saying now. Okay. Yeah, that does make sense because Optimus shows up on Cybertron. None of this middle ground stuff happens. They all go fight the Quintessons. Everybody dies.
Right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So they weren't expecting this.
Yes.
But they don't act like they're not expecting it.
Yes, it's very weird.
In this world, the Quintessons drove Galvatron to chase the Autobots here.
Yes.
Which is so convoluted. Discover it. Wow, I'm slow, but you're right. This whole thing is wrong.
It's almost like they don't know what to do.
It's almost like somebody had another plot from another cartoon series
that he just plugged
They decided to just overlap to his Transformers work that he had to do. The Autobots escape.
Mm-hmm.
That's no major spoiler. They bust through the sides of the mausoleum as the mausoleum itself burns in the atmosphere of the Red Star.
And guess what? They land safely on Cybertron?
Like 5 seconds later.
No, they crash on Cybertron.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they crashed right into like the side of the building.
Yes, I can.
I rewatched it because... I was watching it and...
Can we make a 9/11 reference here?
I wasn't planning on it. We can if you want.
9/11 reference. Okay. Go ahead,
Caleb. I didn't hear that line of where Cup said the brakes
no
don't
brakes
work.
Or whatever, yeah.
So what I assumed kind of when I first saw it, I actually thought it was possible. Like I considered it and I rewound it. The thing that they just, for no reason, just crashed their shuttle through the window. Because that's... what they do. They just crash shuttles.
Also, it's weird the Dinobots are in Dino form. I guess they prefer to be in Dinobot
They were like that in the movie.
It's true, but like it's demonstrably better to be a robot form when you're like monitoring a window, which I thought was a viewer, but turns out to be a window that the shuttle just crashes through, and Sludge has to push Snarl out of the way.
Well, even Grimlock in the previous scene, his temper tantrum was in Dino mode.
I guess they just prefer Dino mode.
And I think, they're more iconic. I think for the purposes of,
That's true.
of the viewer, they probably had them in Dino mode.
That's true. That makes sense.
Well, the ship crashes through.
You called them, Aaron, Launchpad McFucks, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, was that Caleb? Actually,
that was you.
Oh,
That was
okay.
you that said
I'll
that.
take credit for that. This crash happens. Everybody's fine. The Dinobots are confused because
They come trotting out before the shuttle even stops moving. Really,
they think that these Autobots are dead, so they're a little topsy turvy. And the team learns that everyone believes the Quintessons have killed them. And they also learn that Optimus has assembled an attack force against those Quintessons,
right?
Which everybody believes has killed them. And also, the Dinobots realize that something's not right. Why wouldn't Optimus Prime just take those guys with him on the trip? By the way, he just leaves these two fuck nuts behind.
I don't know. Maybe they thought it was too weird to not leave anybody on the planet.
But in case somebody shows up, he legitimately believes everybody else is dead. He set them on that course.
In case the Decepticons show up.
Transition back to Team Optimus. We see all the aerial bots and other ships that look like the aerial bots, and Prime's ship heading toward what is the Quintesson planet, or what he claims is the Quintesson planet.
Yeah.
Perceptor suggests they send out patrols. Prime verbally bitch slaps Perceptor. And with the alternate strategy of waging all-out war because he's in command here.
Yeah.
And then we do see we see a bunch of familiar forms soon get killed. There's Jetfire, there's the aerial bots.
Yeah, I think it's a major animation error.
I think it's just, I don't know if it's an error. I think it's basically just they had those animation models and they used them. Because obviously we still see those characters alive later, and then Slingshot's model gets killed twice. But this brings up a point of they are Autobots. So even if they're generic, we see individuals manning gun stations that explode. This may be the only time besides the movie where we have an actual body count.
Yeah. It's true. There are some scenes where you basically see, even though they're unknown warriors, their faces melted off. Blur shows up. He's got hot news from The Wire that Hot Rude
and the Dweebs,
that the crew is still alive. Prime blows it off as fake news. He commands full speed ahead. The Quintessons, we get a little bit more of the story here. Turns out the planet that everybody's headed towards is a decoy. Optimus Prime doesn't understand what's going on with him, and the Quintessons infer that Optimus Prime is not alive, even though he believes himself to be.
Crazy.
The Quintessons have a defense system which opens up, killing several of Ryan's aforementioned aerial bots, other unnamed Autobots, although I would say Power Glide is
Power
in the mix.
Glide, Jetfire.
And a few great animation touches here, actually, with missiles coming at the camera. Let me wait for it here. I don't know why they say to place trust in their defense systems, because presumably they're somewhere else. They're not here. They don't need to hang that closely to the scene here.
It doesn't
but they're
make
a little nervous.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense why they'd have defenses. I mean, I guess at all, because all they want them to do, they want them to get to the detonator.
Right, exactly. So why, unless it's just part of a ruse, but a ruse that's also meant to kill people. So the defense systems open up, and we see. So actually, by everyday cartoon standards, not by Transformers the movie standards, the scene of these missiles firing from the asteroid defenses coming towards the camera, and then killing the aerial bots is a pretty good sequence here. And here's where we see an Autobot with his face just blown off.
1448.
He looks
Autobot Gunner.
more Stunticon colors, but there's lots of explosions, a few deaths, including power glides. And I think we go to commercial here, if I'm not mistaken.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
My question is, why did the Quintessons want the Autobots dead in the first place? I know they have an alliance with the Decepticons, and maybe it's explained in 5 Faces of Darkness, which I haven't haven't watched in a long time, but just why is their dog in this fight?
I believe the Quintessons want all the Transformers dead.
I see.
But I can't remember why or how. As I understand it, the Quintessons, we'd have to watch 5 Faces of Darkness, I believe, are the creators of the Transformers.
Right.
And somehow it turned against them and didn't work out.
In this episode, the Quintessons are the big bad. The Decepticons do almost nothing.
But we don't hear from the Decepticons again. We're
No.
done with them.
They get run off, and that's it.
We come back from commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
We now return to the Transformers.
The Autobot likenesses that we see die. By the way, sorry, let me back up. Commercial break, we saw bumper animations of Rodimus Prime and then Ultra Magnus. Rodimus being attacked by Cyclonus turns into his Winnebago mode. And then we see Ultra Magnus with Springer and Cup flying off of him in robot mode, stands very magnanimously. We revisit the death of Powerglide Slingshot, a ship that looks like Skyfire. Everybody's getting fucked up, guys. And RC notes that we're too late. Hot Rod commands to radio Prime's flagship, "We've got to stop him." At this point, Blur tells Prime, "Look, Hot Rod and the crew, it really seems to be them out there.
I think they're really alive.
They're begging to participate in a conversation, maybe even get on this ship and meet you in person." Prime has a mere second of lucidity before succumbing to his Quintesson masters. He states that this is another Quintesson trick and demands that they destroy the ship that has Hot Rod and his team on it.
Which they comply to do.
Yeah. Nobody cares. They're just like, well, it's Optimus Prime. Yeah. So we see 2 Perceptors and some aerial bots manning giant cannons and just blasting away at Hot Rod's ship. Yes,
I will say the shots of the lasers going past the interceptor are very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I even like the way the circular sort of look of the phasers. It looks great around 1556 mark here. It almost seems like they're dodging, but I think they're just getting lucky because nobody's driving that ship.
No one's driving.
We see Cup, Hot Rod, Ultra Magnus RC, Daniel. Luckily, he's in his exosuit, and Spike.
Yeah, I guess that the fucking Mausoleum had extra spacesuits for him.
Yeah, very lucky because, as it turns out, a hole is going to get ripped in this ship, and everybody's going to get sucked out of it, and then the ship is going to explode.
The vision, like this, where we see on screen a Perceptor in microscope mode using the targeting scope, is very funny to me.
Yeah, Skydive, who I thought was dead, is looking through his cannon scope, and he can tell already that Hot Rod and his crew are still alive. But then Perceptor literally shoves him out of the fucking way. Hold up for this. See you later. Transforms into a microscope, sticks his lens up against the glass, and that works. Yep. Positive identification. The Quintessons are a bit off-put by this news. However, they
we see just a brief view of somebody from the ship jumping out to presumably catch them.
It's weird.
So the Quintessons at first are like, does this fuck up our plan? But they decide that it actually makes their plan better. And all that really matters is just continuing to lure the Autobots toward the detonator. Mm-hmm. And a simulation reveals that
and we know it's a simulation because it says simulation.
Poorly. Look how big the O is. I don't know. Things are just messed up.
The typography skills of the Quintessons aren't the best with the kerning and the letter sizing. But, they've revealed their plan. And they're going to continue along this plan. And these proximity-based bombs are going to explode and kill all the Autobots. Right, guys?
I mean, presumably, I think the plan is this bomb detonates the binary star system into a nova, basically.
And Hot Rod and team, they finally gotten aboard Optimus's ship somehow. We didn't see the rescue sequence, but Springer and Wheelie, they are totally stoked to see these guys. Hot Rod tells the crew to turn the ship around while he goes to confront Optimus Prime.
I'm going Optimus hunting.
Springer notes that the doors to the command center are locked, but that doesn't stop Hot Rod, who easily punches through the thick steel door.
I will say this, not for nothing. Do I want Hot Rod or Rodimus making strategic decisions or being a leader? No. But he can be a badass when sheer just brash action is called for.
Is he? And he is still Hot Rod at this point.
Yeah, he's still Hot Rod.
Is. Correct. He busted the door. He approaches Optimus Prime, and he sheepishly tells him that he's taking command.
Oh, this is stepping up.
Optimus, in a moment of clarity, "What took you so long?" Mm-hmm. He writhes in agony. I mean, these are very difficult moments to watch.
It is. It's very heart-wrenching.
What did they do to me? We see a flashback at this point. The Quintessons, I think we kind of understood that they were responsible for this all along, but now it's blatant that the Quintessons somehow fished Optimus Prime's body out of the mausoleum and put him on board a ship of their own, and they're responsible for putting some kind of spark, whatever it is, whatever it means, into Prime's lifeless shell here.
They Manchurian candidated him.
Pretty much, yeah.
I've never seen that movie, but I'll just
There's
go
also
ahead
a
and
book.
say it's true. I'm not
There was
reading that
multiple
shit.
movies.
I'm not
There
reading
was
that.
multiple movies too, I believe.
Which one was better?
The one with Denzel's pretty good.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Did it get good reviews?
I don't know. I liked it.
Hot Rod offers to help Optimus Prime, but Prime at this point really goes feral.
Well, he says, I don't want to fight you, and then Optimus says, then stop me.
Yeah. He attacks Hot Rod at the same time while begging Hot Rod to stop him. Please, Rodimus!
It's
He's
rough.
He's all jacked up.
It's so rough. Like, this actually did legitimately make me a little misty watching, like, Optimus beg for him to stop him.
In so many ways, this is harder than actually watching him die.
Oh, yeah, I had some notes about how it's another fuck you grab at the sadness apple.
It is true, and maybe this is as fine a time to go at it as any. For a franchise that supposedly was learning from the mistake of killing its honored hero, it really feels like a dig in the heels into your teeth.
Especially how this ends.
Optimus, Rodimus, they continue to fight.
Optimus Prime puts him in an arm lock so hard that Hot Rod's chest starts to fracture.
What is
and
going
leak.
on there?
I didn't understand it as a kid, but to my understanding now, what it looks like is he's pulling his arms back so hard that he's ripping his chest.
Yeah, that's hardcore, man.
Hot Rod manages to disarm Optimus Prime, we should say.
I will say the punching of Optimus Prime on Hot Rod is pretty silly.
He does a little bit of loosey-goosey hooks there. And I think he says something along the lines of, with the Matrix...
I'm too strong.
He's too strong for Hot Rod. He gets the hold from behind, as we've alluded to. He applies pressure that creates some kind of friction that is, yes, it's burning a hole, a melty, gross hole in Hot Rod's chest. But, you know, with a few well-placed elbows to the ribs and maybe even a kick to the ankle, Hot Rod gets freed from this camel clutch and throws him across the room into that wall. When Optimus hits that wall, it knocks his fucking arm off. And he lies against the wall. He's just sizzling. Hot Rod approaches. He's pleading for this fight to end. And at this point, Prime, he's still not in control of his faculties. He kicks Hot Rod across the room. He recovers his rifle.
Here's the thing, Prime broken to shit, suffering a Quintesson virus, and fighting to resist, still beat your ass.
Well, Prime is strong, and he's got
the best.
Matrix. He's got that Matrix inside of him. He lifts his rifle to Hot Rod's head. Will Hot Rod die? I didn't even have a note to do that. That was
that was off the cuff.
Pure improvisation. He says to Hot Rod, "You should have finished me," and Hot Rod says, "Believe me, I tried."
Yeah.
The Matrix gleams at this point from inside Optimus Prime's chest. He struggles to belt it out until all
are one.
Are one. He somehow manages to regain control of himself.
And this next line, monsters, they made me a weapon to destroy the very ones I loved in life, is like, man, that's... I honestly got emotional listening to that. Like, it's so terrible.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, people refer to this episode as the zombie Optimus Prime episode. But it's not really an accurate depiction because there are some semblance of his true self and personality.
I feel.
Well, he regrets what he recognizes he's not in control of himself. He wants to be as helpful as he can, but he also is not in control of himself. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Well, I'll tell you what he's going to do. He is going to pull the Matrix from his chest. He gives it back to Hot Rod. He explains that the Quintessons made him a weapon to destroy everybody. But Rodimus Prime, he believes in Rodimus Prime. and he believes that Rodimus Prime is going to save everybody. He walks away. Hot Rod recovers. I guess now he's Rodimus Prime. His crew finds him. Thank the stars we found you just in time, which is a really dumb line because they were just on the other side of the wall.
You guys, what were they doing?
I mean, presumably trying to convince everybody else that they were still alive. And
I guess so.
Not a Quintesson
trick.
trick.
To go talk to the crew.
I'd have to believe that none of them could have had 100% faith in Optimus Prime. I mean, they were listening to him, but they had to be like,
Well, they'd say, hey, he's not in his right mind to command right now.
Just another. I mean, even the Decepticons, when they realized that Galvatron is a little fucked up, they took him to a
therapist.
Again, reason why the Decepticons are better. From the control room, Prime issues his final command,
which is a bit of an animation error because they show him with his left hand on the controls from the back initially.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that. Meanwhile, the Autobots are evacuating this main ship. By the way, I forgot to mention that because it's being blown to bits. They're getting out of there. So he's in this control room, he being Optimus Prime. We see there's two, I guess, planets.
See right there where it's got his
stars is coming into. That was an interesting bit of animation there that I did not notice before.
They're bringing something into focus.
Yeah, I wonder how they did that. They didn't do it totally, but yeah.
Yeah, I never noticed that on the view screen. The planet
feels higher level than what this episode actually is.
They should do more of that.
Do better.
At this point, the Quintessons are like, what the fuck? They direct all their firepower on Optimus's flagship.
Which my question is, I guess they just don't want to lose the detonator if it's only going to destroy one ship. Like, why do they care? That was the whole plan, is to just use the detonator. Are they just not wanting to waste it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense that they think they can use it again.
That's I don't know how you'd use this trick again, but...
Optimus maintains course for the detonator. The Quintesson's firepower is not stopping the ship. As the ship takes hits, we see Optimus taking more damage from inside the bridge, explosions occurring all around him. Half his head is blown or melted away, revealing this circular optical area.
So gross.
He lets out a final until all are one.
I remember that I remember as a kid that's shot.
Yeah.
I don't remember much from this episode other than I do remember like looking at me like, oh, it's like his eye is missing. You just got an empty, like, weird socket.
Mm-hmm.
His antennae is all bent up and melted away.
And basically, whole left shoulder.
Yeah,
he is jacked up.
Everything.
Which, in the Return of Optimus Prime, is all retconned away.
Well, we'll have to get to that. It's been a while for me. Yeah, so I thought at this point the camera pans over to Prime's right hand. I thought he would do a
forward
push, forward motion, which he doesn't do, but it still does the trick of.
Also, it kind of looks like he's jerking off a robotic dick.
It almost kind of yes, that's true. It also looks like it was it was drawn rather by the creator of Gru. Do you remember that?
I do. You know what? Honestly, the other day I was trying to remember what that was called. Thank you. Now I can go look it up. I remember those comics, and I could not remember the name of them.
Writing down Gru, that artist somehow got his hand on. I wouldn't even call it an animation sequence because it's just a still shot that they panned
which
over
gets
to
fucked up a little bit by some more plasma.
I did not picture it as a dick, Ryan. Fuck you for introducing that to my mental.
One last jack.
He's just jerking it as hard as he can as he flies into the sun.
God damn it.
That's terrible. I'm sorry I brought it up.
Yeah, well, this is really going to be emotional, but now it's less so. Fire consumes the ship. He blasts into the detonator, and there's a giant explosion, lots of debris. The explosion lasts forever. I guess those other two planets, or that sun and that planet, didn't really have that much to do with the scheme. I don't understand a lot.
I thought the idea was that the detonation is supposed to ignite the sun. I thought there were two suns, honestly, but
and create some sort of chain reaction. Yeah, that
just
going to be unescapable. Is it possible that the Quintesson's plan was never going to work because it didn't take long for the Autobots to get away from
It's true. I mean, it does create a nova, which they literally say that's a nova.
They do say it's a nova, but could a nova really exist there, right there?
A nova is anytime a sun explodes, or a star explodes.
Yes.
But could one exist next to two other entities?
No, I think the point is that the explosion triggers a nova.
But the nova still is triggered, but it doesn't destroy the planets next to it.
It did. They're gone. They're gone
not.
to go back one. See?
I just assumed they were far away. Sorry, we were looking at between the 1221 and 21, 24, 25, 26. Yeah, I mean, it looks like an explosion is happening between two planets, or possibly a planet and a star that are very close.
That close, you'd still see the star if it still existed.
At 2127, I guess you see nothing, and but you also see the nova burn out. So then, is it really a nova?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They end. I mean, it's also a cartoon.
Ultra Magnus said it was a nova, so it's a nova.
Also, oh boy, this portrayal of Ultra Magnus, like at 2134, I maybe could have had some more information, I could have appreciated Rodimus's eulogizing if Ultra Magnus weren't speaking without moving his mouth and looked like he had a brain injury.
It is true, yeah. Not the best illustrated interpretation. Cup says, goodbye, old friend. Daniel cries, of course.
Yeah.
Ultra Magnus tells us...
Daniel's seen him die twice now.
Yes! I mean, everybody in the room has seen him die twice now. Ultra Magnus tells us this explosion, which has created a nova, thank you guys, will be his memorial. Rodimus says... I don't know that I'll ever be the leader that you were, but for sure, I'm going to try.
You won't, and don't bother.
Yeah.
So long.
And then we get like a little painting across the sky of Prime.
Does he give a thumbs up?
I don't think so.
Or he winks. Wink.
He doesn't give a wink, but there is a little ding, little ding flash of light that happens right by his neck, which I'll take. So this ghostly image burns across the screen. If you were watching the rerun version of this, you'd hear Victor Caroli state, "But is this really the end of Optimus Prime? Find out in tomorrow's exciting episode. Did Prime die again?"
It was a pretty good Caroli. It was like a mixture of Victor Caroli and like Vincent Price. Yes.
I feel like Victor Caroli probably was a broke dick Vincent Price.
Oh shit!
Gloves tossed.
Shots fired.
All right, we're post-show, guys. Mm-hmm. The show's over. For a show that was supposedly learning its lesson about killing off a beloved father figure, the producers doubled down.
Yeah.
On the gut-wrenching nature of loss.
It's a weird choice.
I don't think they actually... Maybe this was produced before they realized the repercussions of that.
Possible. Might have been in the pipeline already.
Evangelists, people that actually have been in this scene a lot longer than us, that actually know the answer to that question. What is true there? Transformers the movie was being produced during season 2.
Yeah.
Season 3, they had to have known the beats of Transformers the movie. They had the Quintessons, they had all that shit, but maybe they didn't know the public reaction to it yet. But then it's like, okay, well, here's public reaction. It's harsh. Let's bring him back for a second, but make it twisted in a way that's only not going to satisfy you at all.
Even without a public reaction, it still seems like a callous thing to do to the main character from the series this whole time.
I think it's a good episode. I think there's a good moral to the story of don't put, careful who you put on a pedestal.
Sure.
These people obviously put Optimus. And he was awesome, but they put him on a pedestal, and then when he comes back from the dead, they're just
unquestioning,
blindly following this guy.
One person,
especially. Everybody when he got on Cybertron,
every single Autobot.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lesson to be learned there. When a person comes back from the dead, just don't do everything they say.
And maybe
see you later, Jesus Christ.
And maybe I shouldn't believe everything Trump says.
Or Jesus Christ.
Okay, great.
Did Prime have to fly into the detonator? Could in theory, couldn't he have just turned around as well? And
it did seem unnecessary.
Just gone back to Cybertron and kind of maybe repaired Optimus
or even
Prime
even gotten on the shuttle with them and just programmed the flagship to crash into it on autopilot.
He clearly wasn't in his right mind.
It's true. He was obviously not making good decisions.
I mean, maybe by taking command of that decision, it was kind of, he's a person that likes to put himself out there.
Yeah, in most incarnations, every time he dies, and he dies a lot, it's through sacrifice in that way.
You know what it's time for, guys?
Rip deviations.
Great. So I did look at the script. You indicated there were some links on TF Wiki, but it was just a link to the dialogue script, and it was exactly the same. So I went with just some trivia here. There's a bunch of Star Wars sound effects in this episode.
Okay.
This is not completely comprehensive, but from the TF Wiki, there's a long X-Wing whine from the Rebel squad approaching the Death Star, which is heard in the opening shot as the Autobot shuttle flies past the camera.
Mm-hmm.
As the Decepticons launch their torpedoes, sounds from one of the firefights on the Death Star can be heard. The whine of Luke's X-Wing about to crash into Dagobah. It plays as the mausoleum approaches the sun, where you can even hear the sounds of branches hitting the canopy. Then there's the Death Star super laser sound as the Autobots escape from the mausoleum.
Why? I have to assume that those things are all copyright protected.
Again, I can't find any information on it, but I don't know if it's connected to Nelson Shin being connected to Transformers, but maybe it's not. Maybe that is public availability for those sound effects.
It can't be. I think that I
think they're up for sale. I think once they make the movie, they can start some of that stuff.
That's true. I would imagine. You're right, though. Maybe they could be purchased. It's interesting that somebody would purchase a sound effect that had some incidental other things in it. But
it also says they're of much higher audio quality and sit higher in the editing bed, so you can hear them more than the other sound effects in the episode.
It is true. They could. Lucasfilm could license that shit out. It could also just be sampled and stolen like early hip hop music.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I had was in season 5, quote unquote, when the episode is rebroadcast. Those are the ones with Tommy and Power Master Optimus Prime. You remember that?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, they meet in a barren wasteland where Tommy, apparently a reporter for Autobot City News, asked to interview
Why
Prime.
are you employing a child to be
he's a cub reporter.
A journalist. Okay.
He asked for the inside scoop on how Prime came back from the dead, and he says, "Okay, what would you like me to tell you? Tell us the real scoop, the behind-the-scenes super secret story of how you came back from the dead." And then 22 minutes later, at the end of the episode, Tommy's pissed and says, "You said you were going to tell me how you were brought back to life, and instead you tell me a story where you weren't really brought back to life at all. And even if you were, you'd be dead again by now." Tommy is furious, accusing Prime of dodging questions and not telling him how he really cheated death. Prime informs him that there's more than meets the eye to this story. In fact, the story has only just begun. Tommy stops him as his recorder has run out of tape. Tommy and Prime then blast off to outer space to maybe, go to the store to buy more tape.
Cold. Darkness.
Then
darkness.
Light.
First of all, Tommy, respect Prime. Stop subjecting Prime like he's your little bitch.
He feels like Prime is giving fake news.
This is also Power Master Optimus Prime,
Mm-hmm.
no doubt. I think maybe Tommy needs a privilege check.
I wonder where Tommy is today.
Just like where's the Britannic Encyclopedia guy?
Oh God. So that's it.
All right, very good. Cool. At this point, hello?
What? Ominous.
I get there's somebody at the door. Caleb, would you go pick up the door? All right.
Pick up the door. Go pick up the door.
Iconic moment.
That's a door opening. Squeak.
What's going on?
All right.
I'm sorry. No, seriously.
Hello, everybody. I'm
sorry.
Caleb, thanks for letting me in the door here.
We can do this again. Hold on.
No, that's fine. We don't need to do this again because, I just showed up. I mean, I don't need a formal introduction or anything.
Shit are you?
Well, I'm just a big fan of the show. My name's Dred-knocks.
Oh, good. Oh, that's...
I've been listening to your show on me chopper. Just riding around, decapitating blokes with my chainsaw as I drive down the road. And just wanted to come by and wish you guys, just like so many people have. So very self-indulgent of you. But I just wanted to be a part of the happy 100th. Happy 100th, guys.
Thank you.
That's very nice. That you seem to be getting a lot of axle grease on our recording equipment. And you're picking your nose.
No, see, that's the problem I have with blokes like you. Giving the Dred-knocks a bad name. Yes, a bit of axle
now,
grease.
Now, is it Dred-knocks or Dred-knocks?
Listen, my name is Dred-knocks.
That's your name?
Dred-knocks.
Okay.
I'm, kind of the inspiration for all of the Dred-knocks. It's kind of an amalgamation, but it's like a reverse amalgamation where they picked apart all parts of my personality and turned it into lots of multiple characters.
Like Fred Dukes in Bloodsport.
I've never seen that movie because, well, let me get situated.
What the fuck?
Sorry, something in my throat. Are all people, where I was going earlier,
okay.
a lot of people believe that Dred-knocks are evil, vile, disgusting people. But really, we're not. We do a lot for charity. We are...
Toys for Tots?
Well, it's more like... kind of notch for notch is what we call it, actually. Yeah, what we do is we the scalps of our decapitated foes.
So you decapitate them and scalp them. That's amazing.
Yes.
We believe in sustainability.
No, I don't know if that tracks.
We're very
all right.
earth friendly. And we take those scalps and we deliver them to, the children and just, people that need ponytails.
Okay, I get it. So it's kind of like hair replacement.
Yes.
But it's fucking somebody's
It's
fucking
like,
scalp.
sort of a hell club. My accent is very different.
You seem to be from a lot of, you're just from everywhere.
Well, like I said, all of the Dred-knocks are an amalgamation of me, Dred-knock.
No.
So, I'm a man of the world. I've been around,
Picked up a little bit of accent here and there.
Okay.
I'm like
Madonna.
Like Madonna.
Well, that's another part of my history, actually. I'm glad you asked. I married Guy Ritchie.
Okay.
In the 90s, late 90s. And, you spend time with Guy, and your accent just kind of develops over time.
It's like sexually transmitted accent.
He did ejaculate.
STA.
He did ejaculate in me bum.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden I had this accent.
Well, I'm glad that you like the show.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'll see myself out.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Close the door on your way out. Wonderful. That was interesting.
Yeah,
While he was here, our dog she got very excited by his presence. Lucy just showed up on the scene.
Well, he smelled like ham.
Clickety, clickety. He did have a very pork-based scent. But that's great what he's doing for kids.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad he's decapitating and then scalping people, or maybe scalping the decapitating.
As long as
seems easier.
As long as in the end there's something good being done, then the rest of that stuff is.
That's true. It's means to an end.
I feel bad about the how we feel about the Dred-knocks.
I don't.
Oh, okay.
Nah.
All right. Is there any other fun stuff here?
We have the iconic moment.
Oh, you know what? How could we forget about that? Oh my gosh! All right.
Okay.
Hang on a minute. We were just getting ready to talk about an iconic. I guess we should open.
Oh, who is it? Who is it?
Oh.
Oh.
So normally this is incredible. First of all, Ghost of the Iconic Moment, is that you?
Yeah.
Normally you
Am I
just
invisible?
normally you just poof into the scene. You were definitely translucent.
Yes.
Are you British?
No.
But normally you poof into the scene. You actually took the nicety of knocking on the door.
Yep. Seems pretty inconsequential.
Great.
Certainly, you came back to wish us well, like all the others that we've listened to today.
Have I ever come by to wish you guys well?
I guess that's true. He kind of has just been a shithead.
So, well, okay,
I'm hungry. Got any food?
I've got
some chicken wings, maybe.
I have some white cheddar Cheez-Its upstairs. Would you care for some of those?
Did you lose a bet?
White cheddar's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Cheddar's better. I'll take it.
Cheese knees.
Is there... It's been a while since we've seen you. Is there any information you can give us about the afterlife, or what's your experience been thus far?
Well, I was going to say that I lost my apartment.
Oh, no.
They have apartments in what I presume to be heaven?
No, I've got an apartment here in town.
Okay.
You think there's Chicos in heaven? No, there's Chicos in hell.
What you lost your apartment? Story?
Well, similar to the episode that you guys are doing.
Mm-hmm.
My apartment's a lot like the mausoleum.
It's floating in space.
No, lonely.
Oh.
Forgotten about.
Decrepit.
There's a cloud of weed smoke in my living room.
The Veil of Remembrance?
That's a veil of short-term memory loss.
Great. Did you have a moment that you enjoyed the most of this episode?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to keep it to yourself?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thanks for stopping by.
Ghost of the iconic moment is somewhat of a loner.
I don't know why.
Hey.
Yeah.
Got any money?
Well, we can talk about that often.
I mean, what would you do with that money? I'm always a little bit hesitant to just give it away.
Oh, I'd invested in the stock market.
Oh, okay. That sounds very responsible. No other questions asked.
You didn't think that was
opening up my wallet, which actually I've got one of those wallets. It's just a credit card wallet, but I do jam cash into it when I have it, and I'm giving all that cash to you right now. Here you go.
Thank
because you weren't sarcastic at all.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to go do something really responsible with this right now.
Okay. Are there any stocks you've got your eye on? I'm looking for some hot tips.
Sure. It's, goes to the iconic moment LLC.
Okay.
It's a new and up and coming.
Oh, I've actually heard of that on the scene. They're that company that is. What are they doing?
They're hanging out on your sofa tonight. Game of Thrones is on. Can I come over and watch Game of Thrones tonight?
So you don't have HBO at your...
I only have HBO.
That was a very terrible...
Actually, it used to just be called H-Boo. They dropped the last O.
I would think they would have added O's.
Right. Gotta cut costs somewhere.
Okay, all right. Well,
thanks for coming by.
Thanks for the money.
Poof.
Poof.
Good times.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. That was the least fun actually I've ever had with the ghost.
Really, I got some other ones that were worse.
It's almost.
I thought that was great.
It's almost as if he didn't know he was coming by.
Yeah, like we sprung it on him without any preparation.
Oh well, I think he'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there? 100 episodes. We've had so many great guests and people giving us the kudos. Is there anybody else you'd like to drop by?
Hey guys!
What? Hang on a minute. For a second, I heard top 40 music.
Mm-hmm.
And
that
then,
was weird. Nah, but Hey, I'm here now to talk to you about how it's 100 episodes of shit. Did you want to interview me? What the fuck is going on?
Casey, you look surprisingly like Ron Friedman.
Oh, it's a roast. I see what's happening here. Well, you guys have done terrible things, and I hope that you have 100 less episodes. Everybody said 100 more. I was going opposite.
That's very improvisationally negative of you. Kasem, the last time we saw you, I believe you were helping correct us over the, what was it? The pronunciation of the word Dred-knocks?
Somebody's got to hold your feet to the fire. And I would love nothing more than to set all of yous on fire. You can't figure out if it's Dred-knocks or Dred-knots. And I don't know either.
All right, well, that was a lot of fun. Thanks, Casey.
Yeah, fuck you. See you. Hope you die real soon.
Okay.
That was great. That was wonderful. Applause all around for that segment. What a garbage dump.
So, iconic moment.
Uh-huh. Oh, the horrible mutilation of Optimus Prime.
Well, I mean, that's not a moment. That's throughout the whole episode.
No. Where he specifically gets destroyed by plasma from the shots.
Yes.
Oh, at the end of the episode?
Yeah.
And his face gets ripped away?
Face is gone and his arm is gone.
Yeah.
That's just... I will say, aside from that, like the moment where that Autobot falls out of the tomb, where Daniel opens it up and there's that horrible horror movie sound, that creeped me out as a kid and is still pretty scary.
Are you secondarily aligned to that as well?
Yes. Let me think if I can think of another one. Optimus Prime appearing all out of nowhere with
just
the cobwebs.
showing up.
Like, oh, fuck.
There he is.
I'm pretty sure there was a Curly Jefferson sound effect. It was like... at that moment. Shout out to my Mighty Boosh fans out there. For me, it was when Prime says, "Forgive me," and then he just fires Hot Rod and the team, because that's when you knew definitively that there was something
was
fucked
happening.
up about him.
That's a good one.
All right, well, you'll take it. I guess we're done here.
Are we? Do we want to go another hour? We've been recording for about 3.5 hours.
Yeah. Almost 4 hours, actually.
Well, this is going to be... I hope you enjoy the action.
Mike Seibert, do you care to send us any more audio accolades?
That was so sweet. That was very nice of him
awesome.
to put the work into that.
It was also for everyone to actually contribute.
Absolutely, and for everybody to take time to say nice things to us. That was wonderful.
It makes it worth doing. Another hundo?
Do you want to try for it?
How many episodes are there of the series proper? 85?
I think there's like 100 and some. It's over 100.
I think I put away my discs. Is it over 100?
I think so, but that may be including the Japanese ones. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, no promises.
Yeah, you might be right. There might be less than 100, because I think I looked it up and just like, maybe we can review episode 100 of the Transformers, and I think they're like 96.
Well, to end this on a down note...
Oh!
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. That the tagline that everyone loves.
Please.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Please forgive me. All right, thanks. First of all, thank you for everybody who participated in this little adventure.
Absolutely.
Here. That was very sweet. Thank you to Mike for putting that together. And it seems weird to pump the shop. That shop exists. There's some posters. Go get that. 100 in. Will there be 100 more?
I don't know.
All right.
There'll be at least like one more.
Doubtful.
We're gonna keep. I would like. You've mentioned this before, Aaron, too. I would like to do the what is kind of the sequel to this, the Return of Optimus Prime series.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we've been talking about this a little bit. There's I think that where life might exist is in reviewing individual episodes. The fact is there are other podcasts that do review individual episodes. I haven't listened to them yet, and I probably wouldn't, because I wouldn't want it to taint our own interpretation. Mm-hmm. But I think I don't think it would be for us starting at the beginning and going to the end. I think what we would probably do is just cherry pick.
Yeah, just whatever we
Ones that
want.
we like.
And all Hayl and Screams at Stars would like to be on the episode of the Golden Lagoon if we ever do that one.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do that and also figure out our technology while we're at
Absolutely. We need to just stop leaning on Mike.
We'd need a soundboard. Yeah, stop leaning on Mike in general. Here, Mike as the guy in the background holding his recording equipment while talking to Ron Friedman is an image I'll never forget and also never cease to appreciate. Thank you, everybody. 100 in, 100 more to come. That's 4 years down the line.
100 more to come.
Oh, Jesus. Please.
Will there be an APDC after this? Who knows?
Probably.
APDC.
It might just be that at some point.
Just Ryan talking.
Yeah.
Sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to come.
But
that's his tagline.
But please come back for the next episode.
Google Play, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher. iTunes users, subscribe. Keep leaving those reviews. If you're international,
5 stars, please.
If you're international, let us know about it so we can talk about it. And of course, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of them at APODcast, and of course the web presence, autopoddecepticast.com. Shop, merch, blah blah blah. 100 episodes.
We did it.
This is a mediocre episode.
Oh God, no! You.
Bye.
Bye.
Blow cells, where we sell good.